Hello, everybody. Welcome to
Hello.
Irongeek Cast number 82. Do not disturb. The comment is important. How's everybody doing today?
Whoa! I am rocking. It's wonderful Wednesday. I'm feeling great. I mean, life is good, and I'm just gonna say this again, feeling great in my Tony the Tiger voice. Yeah, and I don't even eat cereal, but I love that.
Okay, so new rule: no, Charles has to go last from here on out. Because nobody can ever top Charles.
Okie dokie.
I just rode roller coaster today. Oh yeah, that sucks
Faraday
compared to
doesn't have
Charles.
sound, so he can't voice. I'm not sure.
Oh man,
I
doing
know
well.
Faraday from the Human Zoo, amongst other places, hung out with him at last DEF CON.
Nice.
Sung karaoke with him and his girlfriend and his girlfriend's daughter at DerbyCon. That was a lot.
Nice.
But I had to make sure I toned down whatever song it was. You know, I deliberately chose. There was some song that came up. It's like, are we sure we can have this? Because there was like an 8-year-old or something in the room. I'm like, like or like the song "Sex and Candy" or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
I Want Your Sex wouldn't be a probably appropriate one. A lot of shit from Prince would not be appropriate. I love Prince, but it probably wouldn't be appropriate.
Purple rain.
No,
Yeah.
Raspberry Beret.
She wouldn't wear much more. She wouldn't wear much more. I guess that's not too bad.
No, it's not too bad. It's not too bad. You know. Now, Darla Nikki. No. Now you got me thinking about Apollonia.
Charles loves that bologna. Thick slice.
Yeah, have a flashback. Woo! All right.
Okay, so real quick, my week's going well. Had good positive off-air news, and so, but week is going very well. Very happy with it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Same here. Just had my first call for a security job that should be taking place with in-person interviews within the next month here. So also good.
The first question you ask should be, "Can you carry?" for red team.
For red team.
Woohoo! Well, congrats on that,
Yes.
and for being able to carry.
I can't yet. Actually, there's a place that I probably will be going to do a carry permit in the next couple months here. So,
Okay.
Yeah, in Indiana, it's pretty much a Charlotte issue, so mine was no problem to get. I'm thinking about getting a new one just because my old one wasn't laminated. So rated, and the new ones are much nicer. It stayed in my wallet better.
Yeah, and you can't laminate them, can you?
I believe technically no. I have technically done that, but yeah, I need to look into that. Also, a proper gun range.
Because you know, like with birth certificates, if you like in Indiana, you can get one of the little birth certificate cards now, but you cannot. Now they come laminated, but like the old ones didn't. And it specifically says on there that you cannot laminate it. So
isn't that the same for Social Security cards?
I think so. Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, that's always been weird to me. It's like this is like the one thing, and you get one of these for life, and it's like,
no, you can order replacements.
Yeah, you get like 5 or 10 replacements for free, and after that they start charging you.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, I just give them out to friends for fun.
Hey, I'm gonna need one of those cards up off you.
Okay. I might as well do my announcement of what cons I'm going to be at.
Okay, let's do it.
I plan on being at B-Side St. Louis, hopefully. I'm not recording. I'm just showing up. I may hang out with, I think it's David Vaughn, who helps run the Lockpig Village. About him crashing.
Guest appearance by Irongeek.
With his talk. Social justice. It sucks.
Yeah, I got good on
Okay.
Security. Staying with a buddy, probably there. The GurCon is September 6th and 7th, and DerbyCon is 5th through the 7th. Besides that, things are a little bit in flux for reasons that are personal life stuff, but if I told you I will be at the con, I'll be there at Chicon. If I said I may be at Chicon, get back with me. But that's pretty much what I got going on as far as cons are concerned. Right now, I'm doing some research for my weird group of the week.
Are you doing a Wild West Hackin' Fest?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And if I'm not mistaken, most of us that are on the cast will be at DerbyCon, or most, if not all. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I got my ticket, so yeah.
I got a question. You said the Wild West. Now, what is this? The weird what?
That's the most enjoyable named con. I've never been there, but I love the name. It's the Wild West Hackin' Fest.
Wild West Hackin'
Oh, you said you talking about the weirdness? What is it called?
Wild West Hacking Fest.
Yeah, John and his company run it. So it's kind of like how Trusted Tech is with DerbyCon.
Yeah.
My understanding is Wild West Hack Fest is kind of like that with, what is it? Dead Hills Security or Black Hills Security?
Black Hills, yeah.
Black Hills.
They had really cool t-shirts one year. I remember it had like some cowboy zombie gunslinger.
Nice.
It was nifty looking.
Okay.
Nifty.
And yes, Faraday, we will try to do karaoke again this year. I may have to find me a new system for it, but we'll figure something out. All right. That brings us into Breach Report, which is someone else's domain because this is actually real security news.
Let's do it. I know, right? Shockingly. Oh.
Hey, man, we're a lot better than we were in some of the earlier casts, man. Some of the earlier casts, it was a
we were off the hook in the earlier cast.
Yeah.
Yeah, we was on some other stuff in the earlier cast. Like, what?
We're just getting a groove. It's like a debut album for a band. It's like, it's okay. Yep. Some people like the early stuff more, but now we've got a structure, we've got an algorithm, all that stuff.
Yeah, we're growing.
Yeah, we got an algorithm. Yeah. We'll re-hone it in here in about 2 years.
There you go.
Okay, so first up on the Breach Report, we have Unity Point Health. They are out of Iowa. And potentially facing a new class action lawsuit. They're already under one for a previous breach, and now they may come under for a new breach that affected 1.4 million patients. What was it? Canaan via fish. And I think I may have put this one in the no, it's the last one. But yeah, so I don't think they publicly disclosed it until it happened back in June, I believe.
Right.
But didn't publicly disclose it until later.
Wow. Yeah, so the breach was in the article here. The breach was discovered May 31st, and UnityPoint notified 1.4 million individuals July 30th. So that was 2 weeks ago-ish.
Yeah, and honestly, that wasn't that bad. A 3-week notification's not horrible.
Yeah, that's from right now. So May 31st, that's about a month and a half. That's about a month or two.
Oh, that is 2 months. Yeah.
That's 2 months. So that's right on
May, isn't it?
But this is the perfect content for that escalated quickly meme. Because their first complaint only involved 16,429 patients, which I thought was funny, as now they're having to deal with 1.4 million.
And so that's just in the message to the C-suite that, hey, end user computer training
needs to happen, man.
It's cheap. It's cheap to spend up an end user education program.
Yeah.
In some ways, you got
no,
both sides of it.
No, you can't put a cost on this on how to basically identify a phishing attack.
Well, you were saying it's cheap though.
Yeah, it's gonna be cheap compared to this fucking payout they're about to get hit with.
Oh yeah,
that's true.
Agreed. But whenever you're saying, like a spam detection system, whatnot, you're gonna end up spending about the same amount per year.
No, I said end user education. I didn't.
Okay. No,
I didn't say anything about using technology. I'm just saying education. Spinning up a program is cheap.
But you sounded like this was like a Wonder Bread commercial. Like Wonder Bread is cheap. You know, it's just.
That was air. It's the same thing with Wonder Bread.
Yeah, Wonder Bread is cheap.
It's cheap, but it's also just air.
It's fluffy.
Even the pigeons in New York don't eat it.
Yeah, no. I do see Jack's point. Yeah, there something needs to be done there. But another thing that they might also have would be breach insurance, but when it's a class action lawsuit against them, I mean they're violating HIPAA, so that's the main thing.
It's a very big thing.
Fun stuff.
Always health. You have to remember HIPAA. That's why they get screwed over.
Hungry HIPAA.
And HIPAA does change fairly often, so
yeah. Within, I used to get about a notification a week now for any sort of compliancy changes to HIPAA, and I think they've slowed their roll a little bit.
Oh yeah,
that's right. All right. Okay, next up we have Curry's PC World. They are based out of the UK. From looking at them, they kind of look like a Best Buy, I think, in comparison.
I think so. Let me Google food real quick.
Yeah, Best Buy probably breached them to keep them from taking their stuff.
Heck yeah, they did.
I understand.
Or
you know,
Media,
they put that Geek Squad to work. Them Geek Squad have OSCPs, people. Don't play around.
Them OSCPs.
Geek Squad is OSCPs. They ain't playing.
Well, we all know Geek Squad FBI. So.
Yeah.
Well,
so Curry's PC World basically is a European Best Buy for us, for the American audience. They're also a competitor with, I believe, Media Mart, which is, I believe, in the rest of Europe, not in the UK.
But can I ask you a question? Doesn't Curry's sound like an Indian porn production company?
No. Curry's a spice dude.
What was it called?
But yeah, Curry is a spice.
Curry's PC World.
Oh, okay. I said, wait a minute, Curry's. I'm like, they in the PC, man?
Spice, but also a certain type of food sauce, isn't it?
It is, right? Oh. No, I don't know. I said, hold on. Is that a porn production company that's getting into the PC world? Hold on. I had to think about it for a second.
Yeah, because we've never seen any of those hacked.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Were we talking about that last 3 weeks ago?
Yeah, a few weeks ago.
I think we were talking about it a few weeks ago with like Pornhub or something like that.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I said, hold on. Come on, it said Curry's. I'm like, Curry? Indian porn production company trying to get it to the PC.
Charles, we did not say Kirby.
Curry.
I'm sorry. No. I'm sorry. I said, what is going on here?
Something's going on in your brain. Anyway, so Curry's PC World is not a porn production company. It's basically a Best Buy in, I believe, the UK. I just closed the tab, so let me take a look at that again. But they were breached June 2018th, and 5.8 million credit and debit cards are leaked out, and only 105,000 of those cards are without chip and pin protection. Only. So, but still, that's 105,000 people, and possible people, because some people might have multiple cards that they use with this this company.
That's crazy.
With this vendor.
With more breaches to come.
Yeah, and
only reason to say that.
How hard would it be to get the pin though? Because if someone was storing that, Hypothetically. Well, yeah, Darren's here. Go for it.
It depends on how the pin is stored. If it's stored on the card, it's usually going to be hard because it's stored encrypted. Some of them do pin delivery, like a one-time pin over SMS, something like that. Which way that's basically impossible without hijacking the phone number as well. So yeah, it's pretty much impossible.
Okay.
Oh, actually, not as impossible. I saw a new technique that's being used in the wild right now, where somebody will get a debit card, get account number, and they'll send a text to the person's phone number, or just call them up and say, "Hey, you have my old phone number, and that phone number is registered with this site," and then they'll do a reset on it, and that verification code will be texted to the person for their own account, and they'll willingly give it up to the hijacker.
Right, that's exploiting phishing. That's more phishing and social engineering than actual like proper hacking. So it's
yeah. I mean, from a hacking perspective, it is difficult. I mean,
right,
to do all that stuff, but there are ways to get it.
But I mean, when we talk about that, you're also talking about stuff like conning the person's mobile carrier to reset their SIM card to get your own SIM card, so you can hijack their line, and that opens a whole fucking can of worms right there.
Yeah. Social engineering's wicked cool, but it's
wicked cool.
Sorry. my lack of age is showing.
It's okay.
It's okay. We expect the exact same thing from every other teenager we know.
We were all teenagers once, so
yes.
nothing is really gonna surprise us. We might surprise you, but but maybe not either. I don't know.
Okay. I'm gonna accept privacy policy real quick.
And they were fined 400,000. What is that, euros? Back in 2015 breach. So they'll probably be fined again for this one.
Pounds.
Oh, is that pounds?
Yeah. UK is still on the pound.
Oh, yes, they are.
Yeah, and they are still within Brexit, so that them switching over to the euro won't be happening soon.
Yeah,
if at all. It won't be happening at all.
Yeah, the UK's still pounding it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
We have a special guest, guys. Simone.
Simone.
Hey. Say hey. Yes, Dad.
Simone's wide awake while mine's going upstairs to hopefully wind down.
You tell him.
Obviously, Simone can say Dada. What was her first word?
Dada.
Feet.
That was it? Okay.
Yeah, her first word was... No, matter of fact, I take that back. Her first word was, uh-oh. Yeah, she said, uh-oh. And I was like,
She'd been watching what Daddy was doing a lot.
Pretty much.
Taking the OSCP and just all of a sudden, uh-oh.
What's this? No Metasploit. Huh?
Uh-oh.
We're getting to that actually later on in the cast.
Later on.
But let's move on to the next breach.
Next up, we have Butlin's Holiday Camp Chain. You guys ever heard of this?
I don't think I want to go to it.
I never heard of it. So what is it?
Yeah, they're also over in the UK, but it sounds
Panther sex. Never.
Don't know that one.
Something like that.
So they suffered a data breach that affected 3,400 individuals. That included names, booking reference numbers, which who cares, arrival dates, home addresses, email addresses, and telephone numbers. They also laid victim to phishing. But yeah, this is a holiday camp chain. So
that is a weird target.
Yeah.
Like,
I wonder though too if it wasn't like spearfishing and it was just cast the net out and let's see if they bite and one of their email addresses was on a massive list that they had.
Right.
Holiday camp blockchain.
Yeah, I was just reading that.
That is crazy.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That was the feature of the back door.
Again, you know,
it's just
in
awareness
cybersecurity awareness training is cheap.
Yeah,
it is.
Most of these have been, I believe, all of these have been through phishing. Yeah, phishing.
I don't think the second one was Curry's World.
No, which is coming to blah 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 blah. Yeah,
Curry's World was actual malware.
Yeah, Curry's was malware. So,
but too, they didn't necessarily say how the malware got into the environment.
But yeah, it could be phishing.
It was probably, if it was anything like me and I'd used to go in and change all the admin and root accounts on every system in Best Buy and, Micro Center. And the majority of them were network connected back then. So they probably just had network connected systems out open that didn't restrict USB or anything else.
Yeah. Pop in a rubber ducky and go.
Yep. Rubber duckies penetrated at the software level.
Or
amazing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Or a teensy if you're not a fan of Hack 5.
Boo!
Hey, I got it right here, but I wouldn't mind having a teensy.
You?
Boo you? Nah, it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
We're good. It's all good.
It's a reason why I feel that way.
That you do like the Hack 5 or do like the rubber ducky?
I love the rubber ducky. I just I had an issue. Maybe it's been resolved now. Hopefully things have changed. I used to be a big Hack 5 advocate because when Hack 5 first started coming on the scene, I was in the 757.
Yeah.
Where it came out of in Williamsburg. I met Darren. I met Darren first, and then I met the young lady later on, and there's a couple other people that were there too. So, and I followed, supported. I was local 757, and then they grew, and I started buying the Kismet, not the Kismet, the wireless devices that they were first starting out with, the pineapples.
Pineapple.
Yeah. So I started buying those, and I was at a ShmooCon one year, right? And I was literally talking to Darren, like face to face. He's looking at me and everything. And while I'm talking to him, he just literally just walks away from me and has a conversation with someone else. Didn't say excuse me.
You can't do that to Mr. Positivity.
Didn't say excuse me. You know how like you see somebody be like, hold on 1 second. I just need to talk. He's like in the middle, like say we're talking, right? And in the middle of you talking, I just do this. And just walk away. And
you mean like those cats? No, I'm joking.
Huh? Yeah, I mean, but it was
whenever Simone gets a dirty diaper. Yo, yeah, we see who comes first.
Pow. Yeah. So ever since then, that kind of rubbed me the wrong way. I'm like, dude, I buy the products all the time and help promote it, with stickers, and I talk about Hack 5. And was watching the podcast. But I'm like, if you're rude to a person that's like that, I'm just like, no. I'm not gonna keep supporting you. And it's just like, you're like that. A lot of people, they're looking at it, well, maybe he had a bad day. He wasn't having a bad day, because when he went over to the other dude, he was laughing and kicking it up with him. So how's that a bad day? So like I see things like that, and I look and I was like, wow, like, and at that time I was buying a lot of stuff from Hack 5. I was literally buying a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
and supporting the podcast. Yeah, right? Yeah, her college fund. And look, she's but yeah, It's crazy. I was just like, that's why I felt some kind of way about Hack 5 or whatever. If I would see Sharon, if I would see Darren today, and he spoke to me, I'd speak back like, hey, regular conversation or whatever. But I would let him know, like, man, and I would bring it up, even though it's water under the bridge. I just hadn't seen him.
Yeah. I've never had a problem with Darren. There's someone other member tried to force the cock on a bunch of people, so I try to definitely avoid them.
Yeah, avoid all cockers. All the people that's
cockers.
Yes, I call them cockers.
They're so cocky.
Yes, cockers. Yes, not even cocky. Cocky I can tolerate. These cockers that just keep ramming the cock down people's throats and without permission is just out of control.
But come on, Charles. You're a person of color. You're an underrepresented minority. We're just trying to help you out.
Oh my God! You revealed my secret. Y'all can see it.
No, I shit you not. I was having a conversation with someone, and that was the retort that they had.
They said that to you?
Yeah.
And the
oh my God!
The person was white, right?
Well, how convenient, because the same person also just released a tweet an hour ago claiming that they don't know what it's like to be a person of color, or non-binary, but yet, a few months ago they claimed that they were, not entirely all white, and
I've seen a bunch of white women call themselves. So there's one, massively overweight white women, call herself a woman of color or a person of color. I'm looking at them like, you're at least as pale as I am. I mean, and I can at least claim 0.5%.
Wow, I don't understand, Jack. That's crazy. I don't understand that. I really don't understand that. Like, you're a person. So it's like you're a person of color. Just be happy where you are.
No, that I need to be coddled and protected. I can take care of myself.
Oh, I think Adrian could come cuddle and protect you.
With the hedgie.
With a hedgie.
Come to DerbyCon and you might just see it.
Analog is not digital. If you like analog, you're obviously non-binary.
There you go. So
that's just logical. I mean, I have an associate's degree in electronics. I know this shit.
Mono, isn't it just because it's a mono signal instead of screw it. I'm not an engineer. I'm a computer science. I'm not even a computer scientist. But
listen, I am not a scientist. I am a computer information systems and decision sciences degree holder who just happened to like Linux and all the other techie stuff that came along with it. That's it.
Hacking.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's it.
You tell them.
Yeah, so that was my degree. Decision sciences. I was like, what can I really do with decision sciences? I can make decisions already.
You can make better decisions.
Better decisions.
Because your current, up until that point, your decisions sucked, obviously.
They sure did. And I needed guidance.
Yes.
And now that I have guidance, I can pass it on to this little one, right?
And teach her how to make better decisions.
Yes.
And put on headphones, apparently.
Yes. She likes the skull candies.
Those ones are nice.
Thank you. Dude, these cost me $60. I've had these for 3 years.
Yeah, I just got 6 months ago. Actually, well, not just got them. I've had the updated ones, of the ones she's holding and now wearing, and yeah, they're great. Wireless headset, love it. Love the I/O that's on it as well.
Yeah.
I/O. Okay.
Still more I/O than a MacBook.
Hey, I have a MacBook.
How's dongle life?
Dongle
you know what? Dongle. You know what? Honestly, though, dongle life is not bad, because here's the thing. All right.
I mean,
with my MacBook, right? I have the MacBook Pro, the one that came with like 256 gigs of RAM and 16 gigs of RAM. I mean, 256 gig of hard disk space and 16 gigs of RAM. Now, of course, there's 4 USB-C ports, but here's the thing. Like, how many dongles are you going to actually use? I mean, not many of us use Ethernet anymore unless we really have to, right? So that's one dongle. And, of course, your charger. And, I mean, if you need an external drive, you just get one that's big enough to where, you know, you can just store a lot of stuff. Like, I have a drive that's just full of VMs. And that's like 1 terabyte drive, and that's it. So I got 3 connected devices, but I'm only connecting those when I'm stationary. Otherwise, if I'm just looking up something, I mean, the dongles really don't bother me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I mean,
the problem I have with the newer MacBooks is using the USB-C for power. Though mine always slips out. The MagSafe one was just so much nicer.
Yeah, it was. I agree with you on that one. Yeah, the Mag. Yeah. They need to go back. Well, too late. They need to have a USB-C MagSafe or something. I don't know.
I've seen it.
Yeah.
If the dongle was longer, it probably would have less issues with slipping out.
Yeah. I just, you know, but other than that, I haven't had any complaints about the MacBook Pro. You know, I just haven't. Oh my God, Faraday, you're killing me. Yes, dongles and they slipping out and no longer. Yeah. wet dongles. Yes, wet dongles.
Wet dongles. That's next week's podcast title.
Yeah, I said they come up with a weird group for the week next week. Oh, did we already cover all the Breach Report?
Yes, we're done. We're up to Weird Group of the Week.
Yeah, weird group of the week. Like last year, we did the Kekistanis, which are a complete joke. You know, joke religion formed around it. Joke organization.
Right.
The Proud Boys are a little less joke, but still pretty much tongue-in-cheek and funny. The reason I chose these guys is the founder and a bunch of Proud Boy accounts got removed from Twitter here recently, even though they disavowed Charlottesville and the men was officially told not to show up. That said, one of the guys who founded Unite with the Right, was it Jason Kessler? He was a Proud Boy member for a short time until he got kicked out because the Proud Boys keeps getting accused of racism, but I'll get to more on that in a bit. They are chauvinists, but do not appear to be racist. And I'll get into what all that means here in a second. But I brought them up because one of the accounts killed recently, and I read an article by a dumbass who said something about something in reference to the hat that got stolen at Hope. He said the cops would probably come and support the Proud Boys. Well, first of all, they weren't fucking Proud Boys there. Second of all, yes, the cops would have supported the person who had the hat stolen because he had property stolen and possibly assault. So yeah, the cops are going to side with the guy who had his hat stolen. Are you dumbass for thinking that or not? It's fucking silly. But I decided this is the Proud Boys. So listen to how the Proud Boys starts. There was this kind of hipster provocateur guy, Gavin McInnes, and I don't know, they were shooting shit one night or whatever. And they noticed that men's clubs had largely gone away. There were tons and tons of men's clubs in the early 20th century, late 19th century, that were really popular, but now not so much. Like your Masons, your Odd Fellows, all that, those things. Yeah. Well, so they started spitballing, making their own group. And what exactly would it be? And as far as things that they support, you could definitely probably call them nationalists. Not white nationalists, but nationalists. But the nation seems to include all of the Western world. So anything that's, descended from Europe as far as culture is concerned, or is that kind of come from those traditions. Also, a few of the other things is veneration of the housewife, and the kind of ever the term tradcons. I hear a lot.
I haven't heard of that term.
Tradcon basically means traditional conservative. So less of your neocon like. I'm trying to figure out who's making all the noise in the background.
Sorry about that, guys.
Okay.
Yeah.
So a lot of traditional family values kind of stuff to a degree, but more than anything, it's a joking club that meets up at bars sometimes and drinks, and also shows up at protests and waits for shit to happen, and they punch back. Now, maybe sometimes they also instigate. Hard to say, but for a Nazi group, they would be awfully odd. The reason I say they're not a racial group is because one, there's Black Proud Boys. Apparently down in Austin, a friend of mine who lives in Austin, there's some Proud Boys, a bunch of Hispanic Proud Boys there. Also, the founder of the organization is in a mixed race marriage where a First Nations lady has some kids.
I love this.
Well, you call them nationalists, but nationalists doesn't really have anything to do with race. Nationalism is more with I would say extreme patriotism, where my country is better than yours. Fuck you.
That is why they call themselves Western chauvinists. Because chauvinist does not mean anti-woman. Chauvinist means, if you actually look up the definition, it comes from Nicholas Chauvin, who was this guy who really supported Napoleon Bonaparte, even after he got deposed and such, abdicated, whatever, and kept supporting him, even though he got ridiculed for it and all this. He was like excessively patriotic for Napoleon Bonaparte. So that's what the actual term chauvinist means. So even they admit that they take it to extreme levels. But yeah, you can have a couple of videos on YouTube of black guys who have joined them. Besides Gavin, one of the other prominent ones, Kyle Chapman, is also in a mixed race marriage. I think he has a kid. They have members of other races. One of the Proud Boys came up to a Ben Shapiro talk and offered him free bodyguard support because Antifa was outside. And they do like hitting people. I'll give them that. I'm not saying though they didn't. They were the ones that started it. Antifa, I think, in large started it. Like that one guy with the asp was trying to hit one of the Proud Boys, and the Proud Boys basically takes this haymaker from from another state over and punches the guy out. Wow. But there's probably a lot of cringe.
Did the Antifa guy also just fold like a toothpick because he was vegan?
But they also hang out and do bodyguard stuff for another group called Patriot Prayer. And Patriot Prayer, the only two members I can even name, one's half Japanese and the other one is Samoan, and goes by the name Tiny. Now, if that description, you can always have a picture in your head what this man looks like. He's an excessively large, muscular dude who looks like he's going to eat cheeseburgers, but I would not want to get hit by the guy.
Yeah, Samoans are not small.
So anyway, it's a mixed race group of people who are on the conservative side of politics, and I guess if you want to say the main beliefs are, they do definitely have like a certain pride in Western culture and veneration of the housewife and punching communists. And besides that, it's mostly just a running joke. Because here's how you become one. The first, there's like different levels of Proud Boy. I can't remember if they call them orders or which way they say it. But yeah, the first degree is basically you just have to take this oath, and it's something along the lines of saying that you publicly declare you are a Proud Boy. This means you make your Western chauvinism public, and you don't care who knows it. If you support Trump, how can you not if you're a Proud Boy, I guess? And it come up in the cafeteria, you proudly state your stance. If that gets you fired, so be it. But basically, you have to come out and say that you're a Western chauvinist. It's like the first thing, and say that you're a Proud Boy. The second degree is a little bit, gets weird. You have to be beaten up by 5 other Proud Boys while reciting the names of 5 breakfast cereals. I'm not kidding you. I've seen videos of this.
Dude, this is a joke.
Yes, it is. That's exactly what it is.
It's like gang initiation, but funny.
No, that's not even gang initiation. That's just like
I don't know what
frat. That's like frat. That's like hazing, man.
No, once you get the 5 names out, they stop beating on you.
It's like Teen Wolf.
But supposed to teach you adrenaline control. I think it's just because it's something randomly put out of his ass. But the name Proud Boys, apparently, Gavin McInnes was at some event where a kid got on like a talent show or something and started singing "Proud of Your Boy," which is a tune from Aladdin.
Yeah.
So that's why they're called the Proud Boys. As a video I linked to that talks about all of that.
Okay.
Now, also in the second order, besides that, I've read in some cases you're supposed to stop masturbating, and I've heard in other cases that was the 4th order. I'm not necessarily, well, sorry, 4th degree, 3rd degree. I mean, so I'm not quite sure. But here's another thing about Gavin McInnes. he's a provocateur and a clown, and he likes to get attention. There's also a video of him kissing a gay man outside at the Pulse nightclub after the shooting, and that particular gay man went on to marry an African American. It's interesting group of people.
This is. I don't even know where to start.
The other half of second degree, all right, according to Gavin, so I'll take his word on it because we can also see it placed in third. There's no wank as espoused by the prophet Dante. Apparently, that's one of the Proud Boys members who's at least second degree because I saw the tattoo he had. And it's basically you have to not jerk off unless you're in like a couple yards of a woman. I'm trying to see the exact. They actually have list of a particular distance. Now, if you're
then you won't need to.
Now, and they specifically state this:
hypothetically,
the no wank except thing for the second degree is not required. If you're a gay Proud Boy, you can, I guess, wank as much as you want. It's actually in the rules. I'm not shitting you. But the idea
So I guess
the
it's good
straight
if you
Proud
got an
Boys not being. The idea
It's
for
good
the
if you. Sorry.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I guess it's good if you live in an apartment because if you have like a female neighbor or something like that in the apartment,
just go right next.
You'll get a free pass. Yeah.
Just go right next to the.
Well, the reason it exists for the straight Proud Boys is because they want to promote, families and kids and like guys getting off their asses and going out and meeting women, and that doesn't happen as much if you're constantly wanking instead. And in the words of Gavin McInnes, gay Proud Boys are exempt from the no rank because they are doing just fine for intercourse. Okay. Now, the third degree is you have to get a tattoo that says Proud Boy on you. You also do one of those apparently brandings if that's what you want to do instead.
Yeah.
It is a man's only organization, but apparently there is a Proud Boys Girls. But basically, it's just one huge joking organization. However, they get called neo-Nazis a lot. There was the two ladies who one lady got killed at the BART a few weeks back.
Yeah.
And the Proud Boys were accused of first of all, someone accused the guy who killed him of being a Proud Boy. He had no connection. He was someone who had recently got out of prison and apparently had various mental problems. Well, obviously, he's going to kill two people you don't know. Well, he killed he killed one of them. I'm sure he intended to kill both. But there was accusations that they showed up at some kind of memorial service, and we can't find confirmation of that anyway. And then I believe it was and Tim Pool has a video on this. The male Rachel Dolezal, Sean King. Sean King said that they were at some place, but they interrupted it, and I'm not sure if he exactly led to it, but a bunch of people went to assault what they thought were Proud Boys at some bar. But when they actually got there, they assaulted somebody that was wearing an American flag shirt, but he wasn't a Proud Boy. And the punchline to that is, if some rumors on Twitter are to be believed, he's actually the foster dad of two African American girls.
Here's the thing. I don't mean to interrupt you, but here's the thing with Sean King. He always puts his shit where it don't belong. He sticks his nose where it doesn't belong, and then he doesn't apologize for, hey, look, I might have gotten this wrong. It was just like how he jumped to the defense of that woman that got pulled over in Texas that claimed that the Texas State Trooper had raped her. And then the video came out, and lo and behold, there was no fucking rape. And they were having a casual conversation, and it was what it was.
Yeah, but Tim Pool, I haven't think a link to the video. Maybe Tim Pool. If no one is looking for Tim Pool and Proud Boys, you'll find the video. And they got some flack. Now, what you can say definitely bad about Proud Boys is they didn't show up to fight back and throw down. So you can't exactly say that they're not. I don't know. They go to places where they know they'll have to defend themselves. That makes
They're
sense.
not instigators, but they're
sometimes they might instigate. I'm not 100% sure. I've heard multiple things on that. The video footage I've seen, they generally haven't instigated. But mine is very vary. But they get portrayed in the ways that they're not. They're more of a big joke fraternity organization who likes to show up at places where there's potential riots. And they will throw down, like one of the guys, Kyle Chapman. He's also known as a base stickman on various social media. He was the guy at some protest in Berkeley. Previously, a bunch of violence had happened to people who were unarmed, who were towards the conservative side of things. So a bunch of people came the next time armed with helmets and other shit. And he's the guy that if you look up base stickman on YouTube, there's video of him getting into skirmishes with other people and weapons being used, and those people deliberately on both sides showing up these kind of events. And yes, they're all both sides. And no, this is not a neo-Nazi group. They're all people on both sides showing up, ready to do fights. I mean, and I think they need to cut that the hell out. But I can kind of understand why they do it.
No, fuck it. If two groups want to get together and fight, you know what? Fucking sell tickets.
That'd be large.
That's what I'm talking about. Let them fight.
Yeah, I have a little mixed feelings about it because to me, it seems like if you're going someplace knowing you're going to have to defend yourself, it's easier just to not be there.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, because I mean, now that I'm older, and it's like, okay, well, I need to go here. Well, let me make sure I got my gun with me. I just won't fucking go. Just fuck it.
Right. I'm just putting exactly. I'm just putting this out there to all the internet world. I don't want no smoke with nobody. Hey, call me scared, whatever, but I'm a live scared one.
Yeah.
A good run is better than a bad stand any day.
Okay. Yeah, I had a discussion with someone, and unfortunately, there's a lot of people doing this. One's not Proud Boys related, but I was talking to some dude online. He claims, and one of his friends claims that, he was shot by the alt-right. I actually looked into the background of the story. No, he was shot by the wife in an interracial couple because she thought that her husband's life was threatened by this guy. According to some reports, the guy in question who got shot was using brass knuckles on people.
Gosh.
That said, the people who showed up, the wife and the guy, they did show up to maybe start some shit because he mentioned in a Facebook post before that about him carrying mace with him, and his wife had some kind of firearm with her.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't like they weren't showing up expecting some shit to go down. But that was that wasn't even the same group. That was just some people who showed up for a Milo Yiannopoulos talk. No, at Portland, I think it was.
What I find interesting about this group is, let me just throw this up because I've found something. I was curious of what their tenets are. So you hit most of them, but they're minimal government, maximum freedom, anti-political correctness, anti-drug war, closed borders, anti-racial guilt, anti-racism, pro-free speech, pro-gun rights, glorifying the entrepreneur, venerating the housewife, like we said before, and reinstating a spirit of Western chauvinism. Then why are they on Trump's side is my question.
Glorifying the entrepreneur. You know, when it comes to business, Republicans are in there.
Good freaking point.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure which ones closed borders. I mean, some of these points, maybe not all of them necessarily come out with Trump supporters. I'm not sure all of them do support Trump's, but yeah, Gavin McInnes definitely does. Minimal government, yeah, we can't really call that a Trump thing but then again, no political party for the last I don't know how many years have been about minimal government.
Yeah,
libertarians, and the libertarians don't get elected.
Yeah, but we got 11%, which is the highest for that we got in a presidential election.
Hey, I voted Johnson.
I voted Johnson.
I felt the Johnson.
We wanted to stick to Johnson in the White House.
All right, maximum freedom. I guess it depends on what freedoms you consider. Definitely freedom of speech and freedom to bear arms, but there might be other ones, not so much. Anti-drug war. That's not really a Trump thing. Anti-political correctness is definitely a Trump thing.
Yep.
Closed borders, pretty Trump thing. Anti-racial guilt, anti-racism, not really something Trump gets. Things that Trump gets accused of all the time or around, but not really something he is necessarily known for either. Pro-free speech and pro-gun rights. So far, I mean, I've seen people say that Trump isn't pro-free speech because he makes fun of the media and calls him the enemy of the people. But
that is free speech.
But I haven't. Yeah, that's free speech also to say that.
Uh,
Glorifying of the entrepreneur. I don't know if I necessarily have seen anything particularly of that. Venerating the housewife. Okay, that's definitely that. That's not Trump. I'll give you that. You saw the spirit of Western chauvinism. I don't know how to face that. So a few of the points on here are well, I would understand why some of them be Trump fans. Some of the other ones are more ambiguous. So I'll give you that.
yeah, that's why I was like, the first one, minimal government, and I'm like,
would they have voted for Hillary instead?
That was what I was just about to bring up, and I was going to say it's like, yeah, I can see why they would side with Trump because Hillary is the complete opposite of a large number of these, rather than where Trump is. It's kind of like they're lesser of two evils kind of thing. Man,
what does the word venerating mean?
To hold up, to hold in high esteem.
Okay. So
Like
they support housewives then.
Yes, like I venerate hedgehogs.
Got it.
Call back to private chat.
You're welcome.
I'm trying to think of anything else I want to say about this particular group. The interesting, funny is mostly a joke, except for they do show up and they do bodyguard services for some other conservative groups.
It's like a motorcycle gang / but they're political.
Gavin relates also like one of the Black Proud Boys was at some place and someone started calling them all white supremacists. I'm saying, so is that guy white supremacist? And he's like, yes, he's a white supremacist. Well, that's convenient for him. He can just stay at home and punch himself all day.
Yeah, Caprico, that's exactly what it reminds me of. I think there's like some motorcycle gang or something that like
Hell's Angels.
Or I think it's one that like is for like supporting kids or something like that are abused or whatever. I could have their cause.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. You're talking about fuck. They were in Bad Grandpa.
The only one that I know of is Hell's Angels, but I can do some Google foo.
Yes, wasn't Hell's Angels in I got a question. Wasn't Hell's Angels in Pee-wee's Big Adventure? Was that Hell's Angels? The Pee-wee Herman movie, Pee-wee's Big Adventure, was that Hell's Angels?
I honestly do not know.
Yeah, I don't know.
So that motorcycle club is called Bikers Against Child Abuse, or BACA, or BACA.
All right.
Oh, okay.
So very straightforward name.
Yes.
Or Guardian, or there's another one.
Guardians of the Children.
Yeah.
I hope I've explained this group okay, because it's a big confusing mess, and like it's like some of y'all indicated, it's mostly a joke. I may go into something more serious next week. I'm not sure if I want to cover something like. I'm tempted to do the Black Israelites.
Yes.
It's
my brother from another mother.
My brother.
They seem interesting. I also don't think, as far as I can tell, they're not any kind of particularly hateful group, but they have a weird cultural mix of they're black, but they think based on interpretations of the Old Testament that Jesus and various other, I think, figures were also black, and that the original Israelites were black, and that modern Jews have appropriated their culture.
Okay, can I say
partially right?
Yeah.
Can I say something about that for a second?
Go for it.
And this to be personally, if Jesus is black, so what?
It doesn't matter.
How does that change? Yeah, that's there's some people like, yeah, he was black. Yeah, he was white. Yeah, he was yellow or whatever. You know what I mean? I'm just saying yellow in general.
In this case, they're also doing it for other people, and they're saying all the Israelites originally from the Bible were black.
They probably were.
I'm thinking they're probably Arab.
Yeah, they probably were. But here's the thing.
Well, I mean, they weren't pale white, and
probably not.
They weren't European.
Right. They were. As far as I'm concerned, I'm
African.
all Arab.
But my whole point is this, like, because I think a lot of people they spend so much time and energy trying to prove if they were black or white or whatever else, right? And not looking at the clear mission, which is Jesus Christ stands for love and grace and mercy. But everybody a lot of people miss sight of that because they're so busy trying to say, well, I'm gonna make sure there's a black Jesus. I'm gonna make sure there's a white Jesus. And nobody, unless you were standing right there with the 12 disciples, and if you were, you wouldn't be on this podcast.
Yeah.
Or listen to it.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Unless you were standing right there, that's the only people that know what he looks like. And in my personal opinion, I don't care what color he is or what he looks like.
I think his mama probably did too.
Yeah. but I mean, they're all we have to go on is like artifacts and whoever wrote something down before we even came into existence.
Yeah.
Just like every other aspect of history. It's not like we all had camera phones to record it. Like, oh shoot.
Oh, you didn't get that? You didn't get that text from Jesus last week?
No, I didn't. But I tell you one thing. I did get this morning, his blessing, because I'm here and alive. Boom.
Boom.
I always come up with these funny scenarios of what it would be like if Jesus was here now. It cracks me up every time.
Well, there was a series of that on Cartoon Network.
Black Jesus? Yeah.
But
They're like, speaking of like historical figures coming back to the present. There was a great episode of Boondock Saints where Martin Luther King Jr. comes back. I highly recommend that episode. It's so funny. Just Boondock Saints in general. It's just hilarious.
Is that animated?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Oh,
okay. My roommate from college got me into that. It was so much fun.
nice.
Booty is more important than drinking water.
You know what show I do miss as well too? King of the Hill.
Dude, they might be bringing it back.
It was so freaking long. How many seasons did it get?
It got 9 seasons.
13.
13? 13? Okay.
Yep, 13.
Yeah, so I actually was watching like a breakdown of King of the Hill that someone did because I was bored one day, and Fox is considering bringing it back because of the political situation that we're in now, because it would be a great commentary just from from those characters' point of view.
I gotta take intermission. Hold on.
Wait a minute. I could just see it now. Dale dribble with the.
Hey guys, I'm back.
With the MAGA hat.
Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Okay.
Welcome back.
Yeah. Today's been kind of chaos. I don't want to talk about it on there.
Okay. And Cappy, never mind.
Yeah, I'm gonna see if I can fix this. For like the last hour, all I've been able to see is Israel's camera. So I think my call is bugged.
It's a beautiful thing, isn't it?
Yeah, I like the little model car on the
hashtag blessed.
I think I just clicked in the wrong place.
Hey guys, by the way, I have good news.
Awesome.
What's up, Owie?
I'm just waiting on visa paperwork at this point.
Congratulations, nice.
Hey, if it was Master, they'd be on your side. But congratulations.
So apparently, I will have a job offer after the visa paperwork goes through.
Awesome.
No, I'm
What is going on
with
my screen?
No. Everybody. Man. No. I'm clapping it up for this man because we all know this man's story, and we're just super. I'm seriously I believe in telling people, giving them their flowers while they're here. I am super, super happy for you and super, super proud of you, brother.
I appreciate it, brother.
Yes.
Now, I will say I'm still looking for a job at the moment in case something happens or in case I get a better offer. But never close doors.
That's what I'm talking about. Woo!
Nice,
Got me
dude.
on fire. See, the Wednesday keeps getting it stays wonderful all day, man.
It's
I love it.
Wednesday.
Wonderful Wednesday.
That's a wonderful thing. I'm assuming you all heard about the security searches at DEF CON Hotel, and I think some other hotels in the
Oh,
area.
yes.
Yes.
Oh, let's talk about it.
Yes. I'll give
Here
you
we go.
a quick recap. Go out and check this article at Security Justice sometime, or Security Juice, that I linked to in the show notes. It's got the best single place coverage I've seen. Basically, my understanding of it is hotel staff even put the do not disturb sign up because the whole thing with the Las Vegas shooting at from Mandalay Bay last year, various properties have changed some rules, and even put a do not disturb sign up, they may still come into your room unannounced. And apparently they were doing that or trying to get in people's rooms because I know Kate Mazuris had some problems with that. Now, the thing that really pisses me off about this, I was also getting multiple reports of people soldering irons and lockpicks being taken.
Yes.
Technically, lockpicks is a prima facie evidence that you mean to commit a crime.
It's not really. It can be used as prima facie evidence, but that's unless the prosecutor has more than that to go upon, they're gonna get left out the work.
Yeah, I mean, isn't it? It's. I'm gonna do Google Food to see if it's illegal to have lockpicks in Nevada.
Nevada, it's not illegal to have them unless you're using them for a crime. However, they can be used as prima facie evidence for a prosecutor. But like I said, if a prosecutor just uses that, his ass is gonna get laughed right out of the courtroom by the judge.
When I'm at a big con like Vegas, I'm carrying probably maybe a couple $100 of lockpicks on me. And usually they're on me, so they wouldn't be left in the room. But I'd be pissed when it's taken. And soldering irons? And these fuckers not recognize what soldering iron is?
I think that has more or less to do with insurance issues and insurance liability issues.
Yeah, burn it down.
I have a couple things to say because there are a couple other things that need to be said about this.
Yeah, go ahead.
So apparently, what was it? Apparently, what was it? So, sorry, my brain's dead right now. I've been up for a long ass time. The short version is that apparently, okay, do you know who Angel is?
Do not.
Yes.
No.
Okay, so Adrian knows Angel. So she got banned from DEF CON this year.
Oh. Yeah, I did.
Oh, I think I saw that tweet or something like that.
Yeah.
So this happened after the raids and all that shit happened, but there was some interesting context that most people don't realize because they didn't look at her archived tweets. She was doing research on how to break hotel keycard.
But we don't know that either. I've got some more newer news from her via Facebook. She wasn't actually told why she was getting kicked. And someone else is saying it was Amelia is saying it was just apparently personal drama brought this. So that was just the thing I thought at first, and that's what a lot of people thought. But apparently that's not necessarily known either.
Odd. There was another thing I wanted to bring up, but I can't remember what it is. 1 second, let me think.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so the other thing I noticed with the DEF CON drama. So I'm gonna be real about this. Adrian, I know you're probably gonna have words about this, but I don't care. I know the confiscating soldering irons and shit is pretty bad, but walking into a woman's room unannounced is like really fucking bad. And apparently that happened to Kate, and that happened to other people as well.
And here's what I have to say about it. I think I told you guys this, but I was last year around this time, I was in Western Kentucky working. I had just gotten out of the shower, and my Fawcett called me. So I was on the phone with him, ripping butt naked, and security bars right in.
Oh boy.
So how is it any different? And it's because that hotel had a history of heroin addicts ODing in rooms and housekeeper finding them.
Right.
Hmm.
But you can't just barge into. You shouldn't be able just to barge into the room like that. Like anything could be going on.
Like not even a knock or anything like that.
No, it was just key. It was just key, click, and then boom, he was in.
I had that.
That's worse than what was. That's unannounced. That's worse than what was reported in Vegas. That being said, I'm going to say this right now. The Vegas people, they need to work on their authentication protocols for verifying someone actually is security.
Yes.
Yeah, because I think that was another part of the problem, because I don't know if they came into Kate's room unannounced. I think they tried to. She had the door bar on, and she was having argument with people outside her door at the same time she was having a phone conversation with security for the hotel. Is that correct?
From what I read, yeah.
She called like the head person in charge of security and wanted to verify that the people there were part of the security team or something like that.
Reasonable to me.
And then apparently the head of security was completely rude about it throughout the entire situation.
So crazy.
Also, someone found a hack around it. There's certain numbers you can dial from the hotel room. You have to do them twice, one in the beginning and one 10 minutes later, that are used by the janitorial staff to say that, yes, I've checked this room. So you can actually hack it to where they won't come.
Yeah, and to clarify too, that is a good point. From what I was reading, we're only doing the security sweeps for rooms that were not being cleaned. So if housekeeping was coming in and taking care of the room, they weren't doing any type of security check on those rooms.
Well, I guess they found an attack worse than the Evil Maid attack, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
By the way, people were talking about, well, it's going to be at a different hotel next year. Well, I'm never going to stay at Caesars.
It's still a Caesars property.
Yes, it's Caesars properties.
And DEFCON organizers are still working with Caesars in regard to this.
Yeah, they posted out a tweet, I believe today, saying that they were meeting with Caesar Hotels organization staff to figure out a
solution
next. Solution for next year.
Solution remediation.
Next year's going to be at Paris, Bally's, and Planet Hollywood, if I recall correctly. But those are also Caesar's properties, as Ali was pointing out.
Right.
Yikes.
Now, at this point, they're so big, having across multiple hotels. I mean, the reason DerbyCon is at a hotel is because it was more homey than the convention center was. But for a con the size of DEF CON, no place is going to be homey. No matter where you go, for a hotel that's big enough to hold it, you're going to be walking a long fucking way. So I'm wondering, what about the convention center in Vegas? Why not have it there?
Well, I think a convention center would probably be more restrictive than a hotel, though.
Yeah.
Probably be more difficult to get alcohol there as well. I don't know. It's a contributing factor. So
and again, and here's the thing: by them barging in the rooms, what if people were in the middle of a sexual session, and they're just gonna walk in and just say, "Hey, we know you had the do not disturb sign up, but we just want to check to see if everything's okay."
Oh my God! Why are you tied up and naked?
Yes,
I've been waiting for you.
Showers on.
Exactly. Hold on. Why is Fat Life on the laptop? What's going on here? Yeah. ChubbyChase.com. I mean, come on.
Yeah. So one other thing I need to point out as well. If you're not aware, there was a rogue tea party at DEF CON this year. Apparently Caesars was trying to charge like $500 for a gallon of hot water.
Nice.
So instead of paying $500 for a gallon of hot water. They instead decided, hey, everybody, don't bring kettles to this room. There is not a rogue tea party going on here.
Wasn't that B Crypt saying
Yes,
that?
it was.
Yeah, I saw that. And I was like, I have no idea what's going on with this, but it sounds hilarious.
Yeah, so B Crypt is one of my favorite people in InfoSec. I've known her. I've first met her at HopeX, actually. There's actually an interesting story behind that. I went to HopeX contemplating suicide, actually, and she was the one who talked me down.
That's good.
Okay.
And now you're getting a visa.
What's her Twitter handle?
B Crypt.
Decrypt. You can put it in the chat notes.
Brave browser now. She was Tor Project at the time.
Who's this?
Decrypt. She's XEFX. She's XEFF, X Tor Project, currently the CISO of Brave, the browser.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, cool. Did not know that.
Oh,
so they were told they didn't not to bring tea kettles or something.
They totally didn't bring tea kettles, if you know what I mean.
Okay, and then where did they get the water from? Tap or something like that?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I'm going to probably screw his name. I'm going to say Dim Keys because I can pronounce Dim Keys. Pointing out that, they may lose attendance if they're still dealing with Caesars. Yeah, I don't know how many people are not going to go because of this. There's a lot of people. Vegas is its own weird thing. Some people may have stayed up with properties, but it's not like they're easy to get out of it because I'm sure they've signed multiple year contracts that would be really expensive to get out of.
Yeah.
Yep.
So they're pretty much stuck with what the current plan is, I imagine.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, DEF CON doesn't want to get off their ass with, fixing this shit.
Well, they're trying, and then you have to really think about it. How many of those Vegas venues really want to host a DEF CON, given the reputation that it has?
Something interesting that I saw that I think it was Matt Blaze posted on Twitter. I think he said, instead of having it in Vegas, why not having it at a different location, like different theaters?
And they'd probably be able to do it cheaper at a different location too.
Yeah. Should bring it to the East Coast.
But yeah, with any luck, I missed DEF CON this year, sadly. Money and Broken Foot was not a good combination.
Money and Broken Foot.
Well, the foot's still broken, but it's healing.
Well, that's a positive.
That being said, I'm going to say this right now. With any luck, hopefully I'll be at 44 Con and maybe hack it in Ukraine.
Sweet.
Actually, hack it is a long shot, but hopefully 35C3.
Cool.
When are those conferences?
35C3 is right after Christmas. Hack it is in a month or two, or is in like 2 months, and 44 Con is in like 2 months as well. Depends on when I get the job offer, and if I can say, "Hey guys, I want to go to this con. Can I go?" Sure, go, kind of thing,
Sweet.
35C3 is always right after Chaos Communication Congress is right after Christmas every year.
Nice. Would you be trying to present there, or just going as an attendee, or?
I tried doing some presentations on May and shit, but kept getting turned down every time.
Okay.
Right now, I'm not sure what I want to do. I'm thinking I might do some additional May-related work. That being said, May-related work might not pick up until I get overseas, because right now I'm in a wholly depressive, fucked up in the head state, if you know what I mean. And what I really want to do is just get clear and then rebuild from there. I'm going to try and get the basic web interface done for what I'm working on, and I'm going to try and get the basic framework done and then just build from there.
Nice. And May has something to do with like that VR project that you're working on?
Do you remember the Laughing Man attack I pulled?
I don't. If you have a link or something.
May.ninja, just type that in the URL.
Yeah.
Okay.
So let's before we get too off track any further here, let's get back to the show notes. We got on a tangent for about 20 minutes.
Back to the show notes.
Back to the show notes. Unless anyone's got anything else on Vegas and the hotel security scandal.
Scandalous.
And the article that security, I'm not trying to remember the lady who referenced it to me. Crap.
Yeah, and I did initially think that this was kind of just a precaution that they were taking normally, just because of what happened last.
And I can understand it. I'd be pissed if someone taking my shit. Oh, Nicole,
yeah, but if they're taking,
Beckwith told me about the article. Sorry,
yeah, and if they're taking stuff, that's not good either. And I did look it up, and I found the thing. And Darren is completely correct in the rules for Nevada on a lick. Oh my gosh, bank lock picking set. Oh my gosh, I am not speaking right tonight.
I have to say this right now. I would be shocked if there were any problems, because I have literally flown from Germany to the United States declaring on customs that I brought in lockpicks.
Yeah, and here's the funny thing. So I found this interesting map on lockpicks.
Tools page is good for that.
Yeah, Tool is very good for this.
So tools. So from this diagram, you have picks are legal by statute, picks are legal due to a lack of substantial statute, picks are legal but further caution is merited, and laws are ambiguous and specific context should be considered. Nevada is under the picks are legal. There's a typo on the site. Are legal, but further caution is merited. They actually have one of the strictest, or the most strict laws in the United States on lockpicks.
Well, they've got they have very specific wording. I wouldn't say it's strict, but yeah.
Yeah, there was another article before this that was saying that as well. I will try and find that as well, but yeah, it's possession of instrument with burglar's attempt, and essentially what Darren said of if you have these, you can be considered to be like, if you have them, you're going to commit a crime. But it's like, ugh.
But as I said, though, if a prosecutor tries to use that as the whole basis, they're going to get laughed right out of the fucking courtroom.
Yeah, it's like this person owns something. He's going to do something. He did it.
No, they normally tag that charge on later. Let's just say you was really in the process of committing a burglary and you had lockpick tools on you. Then that's where they slap you with it.
Yeah.
And that's even showing intent.
Pretty much.
So
yeah, and if you read the notes there below, that basically talks about what prima facie evidence is used in this case, and it sets a pretty heavy burden for it being used by a prosecutor.
So that's why they don't slap it on until after. Let's just say you, like I said, you're in the middle of a burglary and you get caught.
Yeah, you've got some other heavy charges that are going to stick on you.
Yeah. So
gonna get dangerous.
I wonder what's going to be the resolution for the people that, I don't know if anybody actually did have. It seemed like people did have some of their items taken. I guess DEF CON is in contact with Caesars and stuff like that, trying to get people their stuff back.
I'd be so pissed. Oh man, I got a lot of I have a lot of lockpick stuff. That'd piss me off.
Yeah.
I have a soldering iron confiscated by a TSA agent.
What the hell?
Over 7 inches. Well, confiscate is not the right term. Technically, you could always leave the line, go back, and mail it back to yourself. But who the fuck's going to do that for a soldering iron? Unless it's a really nice soldering iron.
I've done it for a knife.
I would do it for a knife because I know some really nice knives out there, man.
Yeah.
what's that? What was assisted opening knives, micro something? They're like super. I went to a gun store and I saw them and I was like, damn, these are expensive as the guns.
Jesus.
But yeah, she also took wire strippers and she called them a wrench.
We
Nice.
are TSA.
Well, that's okay. TSA once took a bottle of soda from me.
This is an explosive material.
I had shaving cream taken from me once.
The only irritation I have had with the TSA was when I was going to Germany. I kind of made a snarky remark in the line. The TSA person noticed it. I got through the line, and then right as I'm getting on the airplane, they have to check my backpack again.
So y'all should do what I do because whenever I fly, which is fairly irregularly, I fly out of DFW, which has the millimeter scanners, and I avoid those things like the fucking plague because they're a massive health hazard. So I opt for the pat down, and guess what I wear when I do it? A kilt. and I go proper, regimental style. Yes, I do.
No.
Actually, wait a second. I misspoke. There was another part of the TSA story I have, along with another instance of TSA that I've had to deal with.
Oh.
The other part of the TSA story is that my Camelback was in the backpack right there where they searched. It was empty as it went through, and they probably saw the tubing and were like, "What the fuck is that?" By the time they searched the backpack, the Camelback was on my back, and I just point to it and I go, "Also, I have this."
It's TSA.
That's my buddy Charles.
Perfect time to wear sweatpants and take a Viagra if you're doing that.
No. I've always been able to skip the line.
The other thing that I had happen was when I was coming back from Germany, I had my cables in a rat's nest, and they were like, "Sir, what's this? We need to take a look in your bag." And they look and they see the cables, and it's like, "Sir, organize your cables, please."
I never had to organize it, but they have suggested that I be more cleanly put together. But dude, sometimes it's hard to.
It is like
right. You just want to throw shit and go.
Yeah,
you're right.
Why you think I'm bald? I don't want to comb my hair. Okay, we have alternatives. I'm bald by force. My hairline. I'm LeBron James style, but at least I'm smart enough to know when it was time.
There was a interesting story that my dad got to tell me after he traveled to Bangalore, India, and back. When he got to India at the security check-in, they saw one of those TSA luggage locks that that you can put on your bag. He had extras, so he threw them in at the bottom of his bag, and he put all of his clothes and all the rest of the stuff on top of it. He gets to the security check-in, they scan it, and they're like, "Sir, we need to see your bag." So they completely unload his bag of like all of his clothes and everything just to see these like little TSA locks.
I've actually carried on planes before, but I put them in a bag and just carry them. And I've had locks on chains before, which granted, a melee weapon like that is not really useful, all that useful on a plane. I could probably still knock a motherfucker out with one.
Yeah, one or two.
That's all you gotta do is just knock out one hero, and the rest fall in line.
You want to be a hero? This is what heroes get.
Wow.
And we've got that
and the emo tack. I think it's hard to say because I'm remember did they get lost? What happened? But I'm pretty sure I've had them cut my locks off and take them away before. But I mean, the TSA locks are kind of a joke. I mean, zip ties are probably a more secure thing at this point because
I actually do use zip ties myself. You know how most zip ties are black?
Yes.
Get the special color ones.
Oh, so you know which one? Yeah, I can see that. Well, are you saying I should discriminate against black zip ties?
Yes, I am. Yes,
hey, discriminate. He said it. He said it, not me. I didn't say anything at all.
Yeah, I guess it would be hard to.
I had to go like this. Discriminate.
No. As much as I hate to reference the guy, Deviant Ollam actually has a really good article on about flying with firearms and all the protections it does for you because, you know, it makes your luggage a shit ton more secure.
But he wrote that article before he passed away, though.
What?
Yeah, he was killed by a Rogue Carmen San Diego cosplayer. Didn't you know? That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Okay, but basically, for those who don't know, if you have a firearm in your luggage, you cannot use a TSA-approved lock. It's actually a federal crime to do so, and you have to have a hard-sided container around it. So you can get like he used to use a mortar case, or you can get like a Pelican case and put some fucking alloy locks in there, and they want to cut it. You can try, motherfucker.
Yeah, I don't have any really good locks like that. And you're right. That was I don't know if I saw the article, but I did see a video version of that, and it was good.
Yeah.
So there's actually another thing that's very interesting as well. Has anyone ever gone so far as to declare? So who else has had to go through customs first of all?
Me.
I have.
I just did it.
Have you ever gone so far as to declare condoms on your customs report?
Yeah.
No, dude. So
why?
I'll tell you exactly why. Because as soon as that TSA person saw that on my customs report, he just stopped going down the customs report. It's like, okay then.
Now I got a question.
He was like, I don't care. Keep going.
If it's a ladies in customs, can you just say, I can show you what these things can do?
Yeah, but then you're giving the alternate check.
Yes.
Well, you know what? No, the SWJs will come after me. I got to be careful. The SWJs will come after me in a heartbeat. He said he wants to show you what a condom can do, and then I'll be in trouble.
All right, whatever.
Right.
To be honest with you, I'm kind of surprised that like those people that wear those it's not gay if it's TSA shirts, they're not sent to the second level of checking type of a thing, just so that the TSA would give them a hard time or whatever.
Gotta do body cavity.
I think there are enough people who have done that where if they started doing that, it would become like, Yeah.
You are deliberately hassling these people,
Yeah.
While you're actually committing, oppression by an official. Good job.
True.
Here's your lawsuit for, $7 million.
True.
I don't know. I mean, the TSA is basically security theater anyway. I mean, fuck.
Yeah.
I have a habit of going through TSA wearing shit like a Captain America shirt.
No, like my carry-on bags were subject to a secondary search, just simply because I was a government employee.
I tell you what happened with DEF CON last year. So I was flying out, and I had a brilliant idea. Ushanka, because Russian hacker. So unfortunately, the little line at the top of it snapped in the wash, so I couldn't have it tied up. So it looks like a standard winter hat, and I didn't have a way to put the pin on, right? So I'm going through the TSA, and they're like, "Sir, where are you going with that winter hat?" I'm going, "Vegas." And they're like, "Why are you wearing a winter hat to Vegas?" And I'm like, "It's a Ushanka. I'm going to the world's largest hacker convention. What's in the news right now? Russian hackers. What do you think I'm going to do?"
You know what you should have said? I'm Nikolai Volkov, and nobody can tell me different.
I identify as Russian.
The hilarious thing is it's actually partly true with me.
Sorry. I identify as a Russian sleeper cell hacker.
Now that would get me more attention.
That's a patch that needs to be made.
Yeah.
Another one for the patch ball.
But yeah, when I outright told them where I was going, like, "You're going to get interrogated. You know that, right?" I'll just wave to the NSA guys and say, "Hi guys, what's up? How's you been since last time?"
Looks like Evie is on Twitter advocating violence against me.
But
Yeah.
She wants someone to boot me on the nose of a newspaper, I think, is what she wants.
Why?
Back.
What? Why? What happened?
I just wanted to help, make sure she doesn't suffer.
What? All right.
oh, come on. You aren't going on about helicopters again, are you?
No, not helicopters. There's certain amendments that are outdated. We should repeal them to end suffering. And we don't want to suffer, do we? No. Okay, never mind.
Show notes.
Show notes.
Back to the show notes. We're getting off track here.
All right. Next.
Real quick, I'm going to add this into the show notes. There's a Vice, motherboard.vice article. Video shows hotel security at DEF CON joking about posting photos of guests' belongings to Snapchat. So there may be an actual video, so I'm going to post this over on the notes.
Get screwed over. All right.
Okay.
So basically, they're fucking with our privacy and laughing about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to do that to people from DEF CON.
Yeah, that's probably the most tone deaf thing you could do.
Now, per capita, I do think there's other cons that'd be worse to do that per capita. But just because the size of DEF CON, there's a shitload of people you can piss off who do know what the,
Yeah.
Yeah, and may I remind everyone of this year's theme?
What was it?
Yes, I don't remember.
1983, The Verge of Dystopia.
Not to mention that DEF CON tends to attract the more socially dysfunctional amongst security in the street too. So that's kind of costs us belly to do something about it.
I would personally say Hope does, but yeah, DEF CON.
Hope is very different. Hope is hope. It's just I don't know what to call it, but you know what? We need hopes in the world.
Yeah, Hope is pretty radical as far
It
as
is.
political.
I would say if Hope wasn't shitted up by social justice politics, it'd be all right. Okay, so are you familiar with the difference between Chaos Communication Congress and Hope?
No, I'm not.
Okay, so as someone who's been to both, I can tell you. Chaos Communication Congress, there's some political stuff. There's, for example, I did see an Antifa booth. There is some political stuff, but they don't stuff politics as far down your throat as Hope does. Hope is very, very, very heavy on the political end of things. Whereas GC, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of politics there. I saw a lot of anti-war posters and things like that, for example. But realistically,
Hope is kind of special, dude. Because that one dude who wrote the article, the guy who actually stole the hat, he used his comrade not every sentence, but you get my point, constantly. And he said liberals were like close to being white or white supremacists. Or not, he said libertarians were close to being white supremacists. What?
Yeah, and I can tell you right now that we have a very special crowd in the United States. I mean, like, even in Europe, a lot of the Antifa people are not as batshit as they are here.
Wait. Antifa's more batshit here or in Europe?
More batshit here.
Huh. See, because I've been told...
I can agree with that.
I've been told the opposite.
They're a little more violent in Europe than they are here.
Wait, they're more batshit in Europe, Caprico?
Yeah, like they're more violent, I should say.
That was my impression.
In Europe.
Okay, I did not see that when I was there, so maybe you're right.
Yeah, I mean, if you're in it, you're gonna see it, but it's from what I've heard from people that I have contact with that are in contact with Antifa, real roundabout explanation there. They are more violent here, and the story that I was told was a European Antifa member came to the States and was in one of the Antifa cells here and was saying they eventually said that we can't work with him. He's too radical for us. He's doing things that are too violent. He was proposing things that were going to be too violent or we're too radical for us.
Okay, that's odd.
Us
Then.
being the American Antifa group.
What
Well,
is
of
the?
course not, because let's face it, a lot. I separate Antifa into two categories: people who want to do shit, and then motherfuckers that talk about doing shit.
Mhm.
And a large chunk of them are just like to talk about wanting to do shit.
Right.
I believe Charles will know this line. I kind of call them the Woulda kids because they talk about what they would.
Yeah.
You know what I would have done?
Yeah.
Yeah. Those kind of guys.
I would have done this. I would have done that. Would have done nothing.
It's like if it was me, you know what it would be? If it was me, and only if it was me, it would not go down that way.
I think Chris Rock had a joke about that kind of mentality.
And when people talk about what they would have done, I just say, you wouldn't have done nothing but be dead.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just saying, like, you know, especially when they start talking like foolish stuff with like violence and stuff like that.
Oh, I know this one idiot from Oakland, based on her Twitter handle. She used to have iconography on her Twitter that indicated she wanted to punch cops and frogs. By frogs, I'm pretty sure anybody who voted for Trump. I'm like, you're a fat, out of shape, dough girl of a woman. If you ever punch the cop, your ass, I'd be laughing so hard when you're wriggling on the ground after being tased. I'm like,
she'd be flopping around. She'd be flopping around like an air mattress.
I mean, doing the fish dance, which I have done, and it sucks.
If SJWs are listening, they're coming for us now.
I don't give a flying fuck. I got plenty of them.
I know you don't get any. I'm just saying.
So, are you indicating that the social justice warriors are now the Beehive from Beyonce's crew?
Oh,
I don't even get the reference because I haven't listened much. I don't listen to much.
Well, Beyonce's Beehive followers are like loyal to the core.
Oh, so someone
Beyonce could say, you know what? I'm just gonna walk around topless, and the Beehive people will start walking around topless.
Well, you know what? Maybe some of them are hot. Maybe that might be an
No. Never fucking say that. Never fucking say that because it's always the ones that you don't want to see.
Yeah. Okay, fair point.
You're gonna get the land whales.
So Beyonce's fans don't necessarily look like Beyonce?
No,
they don't.
No,
not even close.
Maybe 1%. Maybe.
A very small percentage of them. Let's go with that.
Okay.
They love their you know what? They love their artists.
They love their queen bee.
Yeah, they love their queen.
Amen to that.
Hey, they love the queen. I like it.
All right. Back to show notes. We've got Tatanoda, encrypted, open source, free, donation-based email server.
Okay, I put this on the show notes. I wanted to like bring awareness and stuff like that. I'm sure a lot of people already know about this email service, but yeah, exactly as the show notes say, it's a donation-based, encrypted email server. So yeah, if you're interested in having your emails encrypted, and you know it's open source, so I don't know how much like auditing and stuff like that was done to make sure that there are like no, you know, backdoors or security vulnerabilities or whatever. I would recommend using Tutanoda instead of like whatever other email. If you're using Gmail or Yahoo Mail or whatever. I think it's a good email option.
So I'm probably gonna have to look into that when I get out of Delaware and start setting up my own home setup.
Mm-hmm.
So cool alternative. It's off of the Google and Microsoft train. So,
Can
so
you?
The question is,
can you host your own?
I'm not sure about that. I didn't look into that. Yeah, so I don't know, unfortunately.
Okay.
But I mean, one difference. I think there's another big email provider that will encrypt your emails, which is Proton Mail. But
fucking love Proton Mail.
From my I did a little investigation, and it seems like the difference between Tutanota and Proton Mail is that Tutanota is more open source. It might even be completely open source, whereas Proton Mail is like the GUI end, I think, is open source, but I don't think the back end and I don't think it's entirely open source.
Okay,
So.
cool.
Yeah, personally, what I'm thinking of doing, I might do that myself later on once I have my own place and I can set up my own home server and shit.
Mm-hmm.
I'll probably do it on a Pi just because I can, if you know what I mean. With one thing I noticed with the architecture stuff and all that shit is that when you're setting up home servers like that, Docker is a very good tool, so try that.
Mm-hmm.
If you can containerize your fucking servers, fucking do it.
Heck yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think
Mary
has her own email server or something like that. That's probably the best option, I guess, because.
And I just pulled up their source code. You can build. That's not right. Get up there. You can build Tetanoa Nota for a web client or your Android app. And I don't know about iOS. They don't have instructions for iOS, but you could probably figure it out. You would need a MacBook or a Mac of some sort to run that locally as well. So definitely check it.
Nice.
This is a good find. Check this out. This one, and I would not be surprised if there's already something on Docker for it. I'm actually gonna look it up.
Do it.
Google food.
Do it.
Yeah, here we go. There's already a Docker file on Docker Hub for installing and running a Tutanota server, and I'm just looking over at the Docker file now to make sure that this is legit. Always post your Docker files, by the way.
Dude, always post your Docker files.
Cough. I need to do it. Cough. all the Kali meta package ones that I have up right now don't have their Docker files showing the public.
Yeah, so unless it's something proprietary, which isn't even on fucking Docker Hub, I try and post all my Docker files.
Yeah, it's a good idea. I just got to sit down and do it and link it.
And just so I understand Docker better, it's like a container or a sandbox or something like that, so that it only has access to certain resources on your computer or something, or
pretty much jails on steroids.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, basically the best way to think of it is it's an application that allows you to deploy easily containers with different applications. So instead of doing an apt-get install, you would do a Docker, and you could run a container with, say, Neo4j on it. I will always say Neo4j because fuck you.
Brutal.
There we go.
So let's say you want to spin up a Neo4j server, just spin up a Docker instance, and you can have multiple Docker instances. It's essentially a VM specifically for that application that's jailed and containered.
That's awesome.
And you can extend that to run, like what I've been using it for is to replace my virtual machine to spin up and execute commands from the host to a Docker container to do like network scanning, target scanning, and also some exploitation coming up soon. And fun little tidbit, I will be posting my research on that eventually, and I was hoping to talk about it on the podcast, but I gotta work on it still. So.
Yeah, I did something similar myself for PTF with my tool.
Yeah.
I will say that Docker is probably the most useful tool you're going to get.
And it's being used in production by a lot of companies. I forget the figure. It's millions.
It's also the underlying container system for Kubernetes as well.
Yep.
Is it open source, Docker?
Yes, it is.
No.
Awesome.
Is it? Like
Yeah.
fully?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's fully open source in the terms of the source code is there. And now it can be used on all platforms, Windows, Mac, and Linux now instead of just Linux. Utilizing the hypervisor feature on Windows, which I've been toying around with. Fun fact, turn off hypervisor and all of your VMs will not work from VirtualBox.
So you mean turn on hypervisor
Sorry,
in your
turn
VirtualBox?
on. Turn on, yeah.
Yeah, so right now I'm rolling with VMware and I don't have Hyper-V enabled because of Hyper-V being bullshit time.
I'm using VirtualBox on FreeBSD, so yeah. So I learned that the hard way myself. I killed the hypervisor process, and yeah, I got it. Yeah.
It's weird though because you can. Huh?
Why are you using VMware and not VirtualBox?
Because it's faster and more responsive.
Okay.
Yeah, there's different instances.
Yeah.
Like for a local desktop, I'll usually use VirtualBox, but if I'm actually building out an environment, I'll use ESX.
Okay.
So I'm using VMware Player right now.
Yeah. Because right now I'm using VMware Fusion on my MacBook when I'm on the road. But when I'm at home or whatever, I use VirtualBox on FreeBSD.
Yeah, you see what I intend on doing with my shit. I wanted to go to Cubes, but the problem is it doesn't really have good PCI pass-through.
Right.
So is everyone familiar with what PCI pass-through is?
I am not.
Yeah. PCI pass-through essentially is you have a virtual machine and your host machine. Your host machine is able to like doing anything on your normal OS, like you can access your graphics card, or programs can access your graphics card, and anything else that you have on a PCI port on your motherboard. What PCI pass-through is you're passing access from that same PCI slot. So like your graphics card, you then give that PCI slot to be accessible to that virtual machine and or container or whatever.
So is that like kind of like if you want to use a USB or something like that with the virtual machine?
So a better example, which is the reason I was trying to do it on my old machine before that went tits up. With PCI pass-through, you're able to pass your graphics card through to your Windows virtual machine.
Yeah.
So imagine being able to play games in a VM. Linux host, Windows VM.
Cough, hashcat, cough.
I know, right? I love me some cats that smoke hashes.
Burn. Your acid burn. You booted me out of OTV?
But yeah, so here's that Docker file for. I can't say this name.
Tutanoa.
Excuse
me.
Tutu.
Titanoa.
No. Titanoa.
Okay, I have a question. Everyone knows I'm a fucking pervert. Is anyone surprised I'm going down this path now?
No. Not at all.
Okay.
That's like
not at all.
That's like what?
Yo, weeboo.
That too.
On that note, let's move to hacking without Metasploit.
Boom, 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 boom.
Not it. That's not it. This is it. Hack Luke's Guide to Hacking Without Metasploit.
Self high five.
This is something that is very cool. This is a very good article. I read it right before the cast. I did not put this in the show notes, so I'll let whoever did that take this over.
I mean, I threw it in the show notes for a brief discussion. I thought it was a good article because, and he even references it in here, a lot of it is wrapped around taking the OSCP. And with the OSCP, you can only use Metasploit one time. So you actually need to be able to know how to find the vulnerability, or find the injections, find the vulnerabilities, be able to utilize those outside of Metasploit, as well as you cannot do a what's it called? Just a reverse shell. What's it called with Metasploit?
Meterpreter.
Yeah.
Reverse interpreter.
You can't use Meterpreter because that is part of the Metasploit module. So you have to use just a regular reverse shell, and he goes through some of those types of things, but it was a pretty good write-up.
Now, okay, with hacking without Metasploit, and I look at it this way, and to anybody that's listening on the cast, if you're only using Metasploit, that's fine for now until you get, but please do yourself a favor and make sure you can do things without Metasploit. And the reason I say that, and I'm gonna take it back to my Unix. I'm gonna take it back to my Unix and Linux days. One of my good friends, when I was first learning Unix and Linux, told me, gave me a great tip. He said, that's great that you know the GUI, but Charles, answer me this. One day, a situation might happen, and this is how far back I'm going. A situation might come up, and you have your Linux box, and you need to dial into the network. If I said dial in. And you can't dial in through the GUI, because at the time you just used the slip. Well, PPP, excuse me. There was no GUI for PPP. So if you only knew the GUI, if you only know the GUI, you can't do your job because you don't know the command line. And vice versa. Sometimes the command line doesn't cut it unless you know scripting. That's when it makes the command line faster option. Unless you know some type of scripting language.
Yep.
That's what adds the speed to the command line option. But as far as like GUI makes things a little bit faster, but I always look at it this way. In the same thing with hacking. I know Metasploit and how to use Metasploit as an option. I just look at it as an option. I don't look at it to just rely on it, because sometimes the exploit that you're looking for may not be there. And you might have to rely on that good old thing called your brain, and a little bit of magic with your Google food to figure out, okay. And sometimes the solution is not even in Google. It's just you have to combine what you've learned over time. And this is why I always say that people should not just, when they're first coming into IT industry, they should do some kind of systems administration at least first. Because just jumping in and doing pen testing, you're only seeing a small piece of the picture. Because you're gonna run up on something that you're really gonna be like, what the hell? If you don't know networking, you're really gonna be in a pickle.
So I can actually speak from experience here, because I did that and I fucking hated myself for it.
Right.
And I can say I am glad I decided in my downtime to try picking up DevOps and things like that, because I'll tell you something right now, networking, DevOps, things like that, it really will help your ability to pen test.
Yes.
Oh, and you know what else would help? A college degree in decision making.
What the fuck, man?
Decision sciences. That is only half the battle.
So
I will second that having a firm grasp on how application development, web development, and network engineering works, and also maybe some network automation as well, will be very benefit. Knowing how it's like think of it like this: if you want to like open a box, you need to know how the box works before you can open it. So
I got a hammer.
Like, okay, there are other ways that you can. It's the same way with hacking. You can take a hammer to it, rip it open, and you can do it that way. But there's an easier way by just opening the thing up.
Yes.
Right, and that's the thing. Like, even anybody that's listening to this cast, if you're looking to get into, forget pen testing for a moment. Just get into tech in general.
IT
in general. I would recommend some DevOps and sysadmin work. Just start off with that, and it could be something.
I would go lower to that.
Hardware.
I would definitely recommend, build a couple of PCs, see how shit works, see why things are the way they are.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I agree.
Understand the underlying, like, you don't need to go to like full on like talking to a computer in zeros and ones just to boot the thing.
Right.
I'd think, but just understanding the basis of how a computer works, and then all these other areas that we're talking about before you go into any sort of IT field, whether it's development, pen testing, working in the SOC or anything like that, or even doing system administration. Knowing that stuff is going to help you a lot better than just, and put you in a better spot than if you have no prior knowledge of that at all.
Just go get your ass A+ certified. They'll if you do that and you know a fair amount about computer hardware.
Is A+ still around?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, of course. Okay. But no, I'm just saying this because I've dealt with sysadmins that did not understand how to build a computer. That did not.
I believe it.
Really?
That didn't understand the underlying components.
I believe it. I believe it because I've run into some people like that.
I've spoken to programmers. It was the same thing.
Mm-hmm. Programmers, I can believe that.
Mm-hmm.
And
the admins too. I can believe, like, not knowing hardware. You'd be surprised. They think reciting the OSI model is knowing networking, and that is like far from it. Because like with a lot of these protocols, prime example, when you're learning about a protocol, I would recommend fire up Wireshark and see what it does.
Yeah.
Read up. Forget a book. Your book is the RFC. Because at one time, that's all you had. The RFC gives you the layout of whatever protocol you're looking for. It gives you the layout on how it functions. Those RFCs are there for a reason. They didn't write them for their health. So I would definitely start there. Like, get hacking. I want people to understand, get hacking out of your mind. Get the CIS-BS out of your mind. Get the whatever these hacking, the Mission Impossible stuff out of your mind. Because if you think you're going to hack without learning this stuff, you are out of your mind. So,
you're not wrong.
Wait, whoa. So you're saying it's not like it is on television in the movies?
You
mean to tell me that that everything can't be hacked within an hour?
No, it can't.
Are you kidding me?
I can't breach the Gibson in 30 seconds.
So hang on. I actually have something interesting.
Hold on, we got some comments on the thread too. Yeah, no, that's awesome, man. Yeah, learning C++ got you into assembly and C. So yeah, that's that's good stuff. I mean, you can start from somewhere. Yes, skills. Low level does teach you memory management. Yeah. I mean, you got to start from somewhere. There's no set path to this thing. It's whatever you're interested in. That's where you start. If you're interested in programming, you can start off with Python. You can start off with Ruby. Hell, start off with Bash.
Yeah.
Start off with Bash and start writing basic scripts and understanding for loops and if-else statements.
Yep.
Still just the basics of programming. You're just using a scripting language. And then if you want something more advanced, you can use like a Python, a Ruby, or a Perl that can do more than a shell script can do. Because with shell script, you gotta look at it this way. All Perl and Python and Ruby is just shell scripting on steroids. It's like taking a shell script and putting sed and awk in it all into one, but you can do more with it. That's all it is. Because think about it, when you do a shell script, when you're scripting or you're trying to automate everything, you not only are you using the bash scripting language, you're also using the awk programming language to print out the nice output. You're also using the sed programming language to kind of modify the command or whatever else that you're looking, and then pipe that into awk, which in its own right has its own processing, piping it out to something else. I mean, it's endless. You know, so I mean, it's just, if you're into programming, learn that. If you're into networking, learn not only just networking, learn any protocol that you can read about it, but also get you some switches and get you some routers, or even if you can't afford to buy them, somebody's giving these things away.
There's also a program. Hang on, I just did this, and there's an alternative to buying a Switch. Give me one moment.
Right,
I'll pull it up here.
And the reason I say, now I'll tell you why I say get the and this is why I say get the hardware Switch as well, because you'll learn a lot more about that particular line of Switch. I learned a lot about a Cisco 2600 router. I didn't know as much as I did until I actually got one off of eBay. Okay? And started taking it apart, started playing around with it. Because you can only get like again, somebody mentioned the hardware. You not only get the feel of the hardware, but you understand how to program it. You understand how to use a serial cable. You'd be surprised how some sysadmins, Jack, didn't even know how to use a serial cable to connect to, in our case, a Sun machine. I'm like, it's just a serial cable. You just connect up so you can get to the console. And that, like, I'll use Sun as an example. When I wanted to learn Solaris, I can say this on air, I am self-taught Solaris, okay? Nobody taught me Solaris. You know how I learned Solaris? I bought my first E250. It heated up my whole apartment, but it was great. My son E250, and it had an open boot prompt because I needed to learn how Sun hardware was. I bought a Sun keyboard for $5. I didn't use a standard keyboard. It was a Sun keyboard. I had to understand what the function keys were like when you're working with a Solaris machine. This is not something that's in a book. This is something you learn through just trial and error. Same thing with the open boot. Yes, same thing with the open boot prompt. You're not going to get that out of a book or even documentation. You have to know the boot process. You read about the boot process of Solaris, but then you have the Sun hardware to back it up. As I power it on, what is it going to? Okay, it's not even getting to the kernel yet. We're still stuck at the open boot prompt. And when I learned about the open boot prompt, that's an operating system within itself, and it's programmable before you even boot to the operating system. So you got the prompt, and then you can do some things there. You can change directories. You can pick what disk you want to boot off of, everything else. It's highly customizable. Then you can boot into the operating system. But I wouldn't know that unless I wouldn't know that unless I played around with the hardware.
And just like the olden days, whenever you get a switch or a router, where you don't have enough space left on it to throw new iOS on it, and you got to figure out how to free up some space so you can get the new version of iOS up and going.
Yes.
Oh yes.
No, I mean I remember back in the day I was having an argument with this guy, and he was like, yeah, switches are much more secure than hubs, and I was like, switches are hubs, and he was like, nope, that is not true. So I plugged in my laptop, and I flooded the shit out of those and it turned it straight into hub mode, and he couldn't believe that was happening.
Nice.
Because if you overload the MAC address data, it'll strip and go straight to hub mode. and start sending out data through all the ports.
Right.
Does that work on gigabit too?
Yes.
I actually didn't know that.
And again, I also want to express this too. It takes time to learn this stuff. You're not going to do this overnight. You're not going to do this tomorrow. It's virtually impossible. You have
Wait,
to pick
but
it.
the 1 week training course said that I could. That I paid.
And they lied. And you know
for.
what? Hey, I'm glad you brought that up. And I had a discussion with the guy I was working with today. And I hope he's listening because, yes, boot camps are not all that. Okay? The boot camps are not all that. Yeah, you took a boot camp, big deal. You know what a boot camp is to me? It's just a quicker way to get to the foundation. You still haven't learned all there is to learn about the specific subject. It's just the foundation. That's it. You can't learn all there is to learn in 5 days. You can't.
Yep.
I don't care if you Mark Zuckerberg. You cannot.
No, I mean, well, the end of the boot camp isn't it isn't the end all be all. Like, okay, I got a grasp of this. No, it's only the beginning. It's just like when you go for a degree. Did you learn everything that you need? You learned up to this point based upon that degree.
Mm-hmm. Hell no. I didn't. You know what here's what I learned.
And it's all just a tiny stuff. So, I mean, the learning just keeps going.
Right. Yes, it never stops, ladies and gentlemen. And you know when it stops learning? When you're dead. You never stop learning as long as you're breathing air. And always somebody can tell you something. I don't care if they're older than you. I don't care if they're younger than you. They can always tell you something. They can always teach you something. If you come in with that state of mind where you're always open to learning something new, you will last as long as you want in this industry. You will. I don't know what else to say on that.
Mind, though.
What's that?
Once you close your fucking mind, though, you're done.
Yeah, you are.
Well, and on the flip side, once you think you're all that in a bag of chips and you can't learn from anybody else and you're the best, same thing, you're done.
Sometimes it's hard to stay self-motivated, though, man. And I'm having a hard time being self-motivated.
And you know what? And I would say I know it's hard. I know it's hard, brother. But and like I told you on the chat a while back, a couple of days ago, whatever it is that you're trying to get into, let me know. I'll go there with you, man. I don't care what what you choose. You could choose basket weaving. I guess we'll be basket weaving together, man.
Woo! Basket
weaving. Listen. I solely support this dude, and this is, and I'll tell you why I'm saying this. Because for many years, even though you haven't known me that long, for many years, you've always supported me, whether you realize it or not, about what you do, about your contribution to the community. You've always supported me. So I'm telling you live on air that whatever it is you're trying to get into, I'm here to support you now.
Plus, Charles got your credit card data here about 3 years ago.
I don't have it, like.
All right, so I finally found that program that I was talking about. That's an alternative to just going out and buying a switch. You can use Cisco's packet tracer as well to do this.
Okay.
But this was one. I'm gonna pull it up in a second and share my screen. It's called GNS3, and you can essentially use it the same way as packet tracer and create your own networks and stuff like that. And this is running inside a server that is running on your local machine. So essentially just creates like right now, I think it's creating a section in memory to do this. I don't have the VirtualBox server set up for this, but you can also have this running inside of VirtualBox as well.
And that's been around for quite a while, hasn't it? I remember trying to set it back up in my college days and having
GNS3.
Yes, finding both ROMs for it and figuring out how to set it up, because back in the day it didn't seem very user friendly. It may have improved it a lot because I've been away from the university for like a while.
So this was actually something that was not given to me, was instructed to me to download and work with in my network security and automation course that I just wrapped up about a month ago. And if I remember correctly, if I hit console, I actually get this putty window, which you guys cannot see right now because I'm not just sharing that entire screen. I'm just going to go ahead and share that entire screen. And now you get...
porn up.
Huh? What? No.
What is
there's that putty screen.
What is nugget porn again? Well,
I don't
know. No, that's that
curry.
You got that curry on the screen. You got that curry on the screen. I saw that curry.
I saw that curry. But yeah, I'm already enabled. So you can literally go in and start. I wonder if I can make this any bigger. Nope, I can't. You can start going in and configuring things as if you're on an actual Cisco switch or whatever switch that you've got loaded up here. It doesn't come with a lot right now because this is the only appliance that I had, and I had to hunt this down because the one that was given to the professor didn't work, or given by the professor didn't work. Go academia! But yeah, you can do all of this stuff. So you'd have to find I'm forgetting the images for each of these so that you could set them up. But this is one way to do it. Cisco Packet Tracer is also another way to do it. Right. This you can set up. I didn't get it to work, and I don't know why. You can set this up to be able to talk to your outside network as well. So you can actually have, or to your host machine as well. So you can actually set up automation scripts to run on the virtualized network that you have here, which was our assignment, which I never got to work. I just ran it on, I used an alternative for it where I was just pulling a ton of SNMP data. But yeah, this is a cool tool to use if you want to get into networking and you don't want to shell out a bunch of money or try to find that one dude that's got 6 switches in his basement and he needs to get rid of 3 of them or something like that.
And see, you got Simone going crazy right now. You're like, what's going on, man? What is all this information?
I'm blowing Simone's mind.
She's like, what in the world?
I want to learn networking, Dad.
There you go. I'm sorry.
And that's another thing too. From my perspective, I've only ever worked. I mean, I've seen some HP switches and stuff out there, but like the 99% is Cisco.
Yeah.
Have you guys encountered much else other than Cisco in the network side, like professionally for corporations and whatnot?
Juniper.
So newer
and another off-brand set, but you know, I won't get into that, and I won't say which where it was at, but you know.
Yeah.
I've seen Juniper and HP switches.
But if we are saying to somebody, we would still say kind of Cisco is the main one you should learn.
Cisco's the main one. And again, no matter what, I look at it this way too. No matter what, if you go to a place and they don't have Cisco, you can still be fine, because here's the thing. As long as you understand the basics of networking, which is routing and switching and any other protocols, the Cisco operating system or the Juniper operating system, it just has a different set of commands that make it do the same functions, but in a different way. Yeah. You see what I'm getting at? So you're always, it's going to be some type of firewall. I mean, the basic function of a firewall is to either block or allow things. So
probably easier too, because you don't have to deal with Cisco's insane iOS bullshit too.
Right, exactly. But I'm just saying, if you understand the basics of how network functions, then no matter what system or platform you're working on, you just have to learn how they do things in that way. Like Cisco has an insane way of doing things. Juniper definitely does. Yes, I agree. So it's a combination of everything. So same thing with operating systems. Even better, operating systems. No matter what operating system you're on, you still have to understand that how it functions and connects to the internet.
Yeah.
No matter what operating system is out there, you still have to know an IP address. You still have to know you still have to know how a web works if you're going to be a web hacker. HTTP still functions the same no matter what operating system you're coming from. So it's just the same thing. You just applying the concept to different platforms.
Yep.
That's all it is.
So yeah. So you can build out networks like this and even give it like a cloud instance, or you can build out networks and stuff like that.
Cool.
For some, I'm interested to get more into this so I can build out network infrastructures that I can then attack and then see if I can get it to work where I can. There's a way that you can set it up to go out to a NAT, but I need to install VMware to use NAT node. I don't have VMware right now. I have VirtualBox. Anyway, that's Cappy's tool. Next week is gonna be
What is Cass? We're just gonna do it the baby stream. It's gonna be nothing but Charles.
Hi guys. Oh my God.
Dad, you're not paying attention to me, Dad.
Dad. No, she's looking. But yeah. Yeah, I mean, whatever. Yeah, with like far as like with networking is concerned, yeah, she's sleepy. Anything like far as like with what you're trying to learn, I think it's always good not only just to get the software, but if it's hardware based, you should get that too if you can. You know, to just start jumping in.
I'd like to offer a counterpoint to that. There is a very good reason to go emulated.
Sure, go ahead.
If you intend on moving around a lot and not settling down in one place.
Makes sense.
Yeah, I've had those thoughts, if you know what I mean. And if you're going to go digital nomad, you'll want to be mobile.
Yeah, and perfect example. If you want to learn the Mac, I would say get a Mac. You can't.
Yeah.
I mean, you could do emulation and all that, but to really learn and understand the Apple and how it functions and everything, you should get a Mac.
Well, yeah, you should, but that's like a special case because let's face it, Macs are kind of hard to emulate.
Yeah, and it's very difficult to emulate, or to even just set up in a OS X environment.
Someone I know has that running with an ESX.
Okay, I was trying to do it with VirtualBox. That might be my issue then.
Yeah, you actually have to get a modified version of VirtualBox or ESX, or modify ESX to be able to do it, because they intentionally block you from being able to do it natively.
Yeah, it's funny when you hit the boot screen. It says you are trying to run this in a VirtualBox. You can't do that.
Yeah.
Best boot message ever.
That's right.
Go die in a hole.
And I don't know if there's a tutorial out there for VirtualBox, but I know there definitely are. At least a friend has told me there are for ESX.
Yeah, there are articles and a lot of resources for it, but yeah, it's a pain in the butt.
Oh, I got an interesting thing I should add to the show notes.
Don't you need to have like a certain processor and stuff like that so that like you're not able to download a copy of Mac OS and then run it on whatever machine you have? Like there's certain telltale signs that you're not using like a Mac hardware or whatever.
Yeah.
Yes. That's why you modify the underlines in ESX and VirtualBox, and you essentially emulate it. So
yeah, pretty much you're taking the Hackintosh route.
Yeah. But you can do it with full-blown Mac now. Well, too, if you run VMware on a Mac, you can run a Mac OS within that VMware instance, or probably any other hypervisor if you're running it on a Mac. Like natively.
Yeah.
So 1 second, I'm going to put this on.
I'm thinking my next computer is probably going to be using Linux operating system as the native operating system on it.
Do it.
Do it.
I'm thinking.
So, personally, if I had my way, what I'd personally do is I'd get a Surface Pro, a Razer Blade, and a MacBook Pro. And I just toss all those in my backpack.
Nice. What operating system?
Yeah. Just still do Windows on the Surface Pro?
Yeah, Windows on the Surface Pro and the Razer Blade, and Mac OS.
Now, I did read somewhere, due to... What was it due to? Something with the Surface Pro, though, they made it so that you couldn't run another operating system natively. Is that correct? Have you guys seen that?
I think they did. I think there's workarounds for it, but to be real about this, if I get a Surface Pro, I'm using it as a Windows tablet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I kind of had dreams about mixing the Windows from a Surface and just throwing straight Linux Debian on it or something.
I had dreams once.
What was it, Adrian?
I had dreams once.
Now you got to get new dreams, man. New dreams.
Now I got some money and guns.
That's right.
And whiskey.
And, actually, right now it's vodka, some mead, and some peppermint schnapps.
Peppermint schnapps. Man, that's like college.
Funny enough, did not have any of that during college, which is weird. All right. Anyone got anything else for hacking without Metasploit or the discussion of learning IT in general?
Yeah, and I'm sorry, I really thought Charles was going to be more interested in that conversation, and have some input. He was just really quiet. Sorry about that.
All right, without further ado, speaking of Macs, Mac High Sierra still vulnerable to synthetic clicks.
Yeah, so this guy, I think maybe it was this guy. I don't remember who originally found the synthetic click issue, but they disclosed it initially like 2015, and there was a patch put out for it, but a new one has now been disclosed. Oh, I clicked on the wrong one. Oh, did somebody take my... I'm on the wrong one. Yeah, there we go.
I may have moved some formatting around and screwed something up. Sorry.
Okay. Nah, it's okay. So synthetic clicks. If anybody doesn't know, synthetic click is essentially, instead of you physically clicking the mouse and interpreting it as a click, you are programmatically able to provide a click without the user ever, doing the physical input. So there is proof of concept, and I guess I actually present this at DEF CON, and they're calling it a 0-day, even though I don't know if it's being used in the wild, but they're calling it a 0-day of a synthetic click vulnerability on Macs. And yeah, got the article there, so you can pour into it some if you want.
Yeah, and it goes through an example of how it can be used to open up network connections from outside devices using just PHP, opening up a web server, and then saying, hey, do you want the application of PHP to accept incoming network connections? Synthetic click says yes. Survey says click. Ding, ding, ding. And then it goes into a couple other ways that this could work. It could also be an issue.
Yeah, and I didn't throw it in the show notes, but it's kind of similar, not really. But on Windows, there's been work recently where you need authorization, similar to this, allow, deny, authorization on Windows to allow something to run. And so whenever you're running your PowerShell, whatever you're running to exploit, they're now coming up with text boxes that come up like with your event notifications, that will prompt the user to allow, to click here to do such and such. And essentially you can put whatever text you want in there to continue running your program without the user realizing it, because they just think it's an event and they're canceling out the event and closing it. So there's some cool stuff right now.
Cool, but dangerous.
Oh yeah, the dangerous part, yes.
We think it's really cool, and it is, but it's dangerous.
Yes.
Well, let's be real about this. What in our field isn't fucking dangerous?
And what in our field isn't cool?
I know,
Have a
right?
policy set by someone who doesn't have knowledge of how to set policy.
Damn it, man.
Yeah.
Just have to fuck it all up, don't you?
Cool. All right.
And then don't worry. I'll tell you guys after the stream about something that happened about 9A.
All right.
I'm sorry. I already got something booked. My calendar.
Bedtime. All right. So next we have new exploitation angle: use of a phone number.
Yeah, so about 3 weeks ago, I talked about one on the cast where they were sending out basically an exploitation message saying, "Hey, this is your password. We watched you watching porn. We videotaped you watching it. Send us some money, like $2,000, or we'll release this video to people." And then last week I talked about, here's some results from it, where they actually made a fair bit of money from it. This week we're seeing a new trend where they're using at least your phone number or part of your phone number in the extortion email, saying, "We got your phone number. We sold a keylogger on you. We copied your phone, etc." It's like, wow. So they're getting more and more targeted with these extortion attempts here.
Yeah, one part that I loved in this, I created a double screen video. First part shows the video you were watching, and then in parentheses, "You've got good taste, haha."
Yeah. I mean, it's actually the password one is pretty easy to explain. They obtained some dump and then just form filled the email with the password and did that. That is trivial to do. But the phone number is interesting because there's not been a lot of dumps. I mean, yeah, there are some where it does have the phone number of the person in there. That may be where they got it from, but yeah. They do posit in there that it might be used for if it's like a Gmail account, you might have a recovery phone number on there, and they may grab it from there. So who knows?
Yep. Yeah, I've always hated that because that's a easy thing. Like, you could just brute force. Okay, Google would catch on to it. Theoretically, what you could do to just even get these numbers back, or like those last 4 digits, is just keep spamming account recovery with all these different emails, just kind of going and creating different combinations of emails and then sending these back out to people. So they wouldn't even need to have an actual breach.
Yeah, that's a ton of work though for that. And Google would wise up pretty fast and probably block their IP, and that seems like a lot of work for just even getting the information to even start the campaign.
Right, exactly. But another avenue that I thought of when I saw this.
Yeah.
Campaign. Not the simplest, but another one.
Yep. Just makes you wonder what are they going to try next,
Is this your name? Is this you, John? John Wayne? Is this me? Full of those today. All right. So we got that. All right. Now we've got the gift that keeps on giving. Here's looking at you, Intel.
Yeah.
Don't know.
So, good night. Intel just keeps going on and on. Miter Spectre. I'm trying to find where the actual article is. So we have, and I posted the second link in there. It may be relevant, but I haven't been able to confirm. So we have more data leaking security holes found in Intel chips as designers swap security for speed. Intel, and this does not say what the vulnerability is specifically, but they say that they are disclosing 3 more vulnerabilities in the processors. Yeah, just memory, just keeps going on and on. Oh, yes, it does say. Okay, so we got the one is. So yeah, the second article I posted does actually pertain to this. Software extension guards. Systems with microprocessors utilizing speculative execution may allow unauthorized disclosure of information residing in the layer 1 data cache. And then, so that's one. And then, yeah, essentially all 3 of these have to do with the layer 1 data cache. To gain, and the third one, to gain local user access with guest OS privilege. So, yeah.
Which that one's a even bigger deal because you've got everything with or you have a lot of companies switching over to Docker on Microsoft servers using the Docker Enterprise.
Yeah.
That and Docker on Windows uses the hypervisor to talk between the kernel and those containers. So that's a big deal if that gets a basically a script out into the wild that can be used to take over those machines. There's probably already something out there, and we're just seeing
yeah, there's already proof of concept. So the second link that I posted is foreshadowAttack.eu/#demo, and they have a YouTube video or 2 of what's being called the foreshadow attack, which is taking advantage of, I don't know if it's all of these, but at least one of these vulnerabilities.
We need open hardware.
So this one is taking over, which affects the virtual machines, hypervisors, and operating systems kernel memory.
Yeah.
So that is very, very cool research. I always love seeing this stuff every freaking week for the last year.
It really is. It's
this is so bad.
And well, we'll say that in a minute, but yeah, every patch Tuesday there is something.
Yeah, every patch.
Hey, Intel.
You know, I'm inclined to believe that Intel, they baked in so much bad shit at this point. We're going to be hearing about this for years.
Yes. At least with the current chips.
Yeah.
And what's the name of that like firmware level OS that Intel has, which is it's like, isn't it like
Intel Management Engine?
Yeah. That's crazy in itself also.
Yeah, that's based on Minix.
Okay.
Yep. Which has also been compromised in the past. Okay, next up.
So next up, we got Owie's Magic Leap launched.
Yes.
Okay, so for anyone who is not aware, Magic Leap is a startup that was extremely secretive. they raised literally billions of dollars in funding. And for the longest time, they have been essentially a running gag of, oh, it's vaporware, it's not going to launch, it's a fake, yada, yada, yada. So what wound up happening was they finally launched, and okay, so I'm going to have to share my screen for this. 1 second.
Do it.
1 second. Let me first find Chrome.
Chrome is separate.
There we go. Okay, so first let me kill Discord because this shit. Yeah.
Can't get the notifications to stop.
Can you fucking see this shit?
Yeah.
I mean, like, I'm in Discords where they're actively talking about waifus and shit, so it's like, god damn it. Yeah, fuck it, yellow. Anyway, so Magic Leap is finally released, and this was one of the original concept videos. And so you can see they're showing this kind of shit, and this is all CG, this is all pre-rendered, all that shit. But look at the graphics they're showing in this with their preview. You guys can see my screen, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this was their original video, right? And then this is one of their other videos that they showed.
Oh, I remember seeing this.
Oh, fuck off. So this was one of their tech videos showing what their technology was allegedly capable of, right? And once these fuckers shut the hell up. Okay, so watch this. You see that whale jumping and all that shit?
Mm-hmm.
So they were talking about all this extra stuff involving the capabilities and all that. And what we wound up getting instead was once we've
and this is a CGI company or something?
They're an augmented reality headset company.
Okay.
So this one should show. Actually, here we go. This is once I find it. Sorry. It's hard getting the actual. Did they? Okay, so this one. Okay, so you can see, this is the actual UI and video they're showing right here. So this is the thing actually in action. So apparently it's twice the size field of view of HoloLens, which is about the size of a postage stamp. So they wound up having it being a lot smaller, and it looks a lot more cartoony than the demo videos showed. So there is a lot of controversy right now. That being said, right now they finally launched, and this actually is pretty good for the current tech. They just were misleading in their advertisements and their fundraising. Unfortunately, Magic Leap did not live up to the hype, but it's like $2,300 right now. It's like insane. So
one of these sets.
To
purchase one of these sets is $2,500.
Yeah, about.
Okay.
And essentially the reason this is such a big deal is since the dawn of VR AR this cycle, everyone's been hyping up the Magic Leap and they've been extremely secretive. And now we finally see it in action. There's a lot of mixed feelings coming on here. The problem with Magic Leap is that it. Let me put it like this. You know Duke Nukem Forever syndrome?
Sure. Explain it for the audience.
So Duke Nukem Forever was hyped up to be this really badass game. It was supposed to be this awesome thing. It kept getting pushed back and pushed back and pushed back, but they kept hyping it up. And then it was impossible to live up to the hype.
Exactly. It came out of spoiled milk.
Yeah. So essentially that's also what's going to happen if they ever do Half-Life 3.
They better not.
There's no way it can live up to the hype.
That's you know what? I'm thinking the same thing is gonna happen when Mega Man 11 drops.
Yeah.
Like it's just not gonna live up to the hype. And like me, I'm a Capcom. I love Capcom, but I have to realize, and it's hard for me. It's hard. It's hard for me to realize that it's not gonna be the Mega Man of old.
Yeah,
it's a newer generation that they're trying to appeal to, and it's tough for me to accept, but I know I'll have to accept that, and that's what I'm expecting from Mega Man 11. It's going to be a appeal to a newer generation. It's not for me anymore.
Yeah, so Magic Leap raised $2.3 billion in funding.
Sheesh. So that's what I gotta. I mean, that's just 2.4.
2.3.
3?
It's just $100 million difference. No big.
Yeah, no big deal in the grand scheme of things.
That video. Sorry.
Yes, but how long? Was it in development?
Let me check. I think it was in development for 4 years.
And that looks super awesome, though. YouTube video. I mean, I haven't really seen any virtual reality, augmented reality things, but that's awesome.
Founded in 2010, actually. That thing's been in development for 8 years.
Well, I'm just asking is because you get what you got. I mean,
I know. It's just they finally fucking launched is the biggest story of this because everyone thought it was vaporware.
Technically, yeah. I mean,
and it could still end up becoming vaporware.
Yeah. I mean,
you still got to sell the product now that has not lived up to anybody's expectation.
Yeah,
it's like the same thing that happened with the No Man's Sky. Eventually, it got better, apparently.
But that's software, not hardware.
That's software, yeah.
So
this is what the Magic Leap actually looks like now.
What the hell would you even do with $2.3 billion for a project?
I'd buy it.
You have to develop. You have to develop a prototype and then
R&D.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of that stuff would go. A lot of stuff with this project would probably go to R&D, and then just even, and that's probably what we're seeing is the product of. There was a ton of R&D just to get the device to work. Quotes around work, but to get it to be something to where they were hyping it up in concept, that's going to take even more time. So now they're launching this because they want to actually be able to have more people buy into it so that they can keep working on more software for it
and newer hardware,
all that stuff. And same thing happened with the Oculus Rift. They gave out. Well, they didn't give. They did a lot of development builds for their hardware, and then the development build or the development hardware was actually very limited in its capabilities until compared to the commercial release of the Oculus Rift.
Yeah, so I've tried an Oculus DK1. It made me nauseous. I have a DK2. It doesn't make me nauseous. When I got my Vive, I was just like, well, fuck this, higher resolution, better system, fuck it. Now I'm using a Lenovo Explorer Windows Mixed Reality headset.
Nice.
I actually played the first time I used an Oculus Rift. The guy that had it, he put me into this game. Not even a game. It was just a walk around the Millennium Falcon. So it was like this 3D rendering of the Millennium Falcon and the inside of it, and R2-D2 is running around in it and whatever. Apparently, there was a button to invert the look function. So, like,
oh boy,
if you looked left, the camera went right. Instant stomach twist.
Yeah, I could see that.
It was some development like suite game or something like that. But yeah, cool. All right, that's all we've got in show notes, other than the further reading and notable mentions. Is there anything else?
Some further reading, notable mentions on here. It's Patch Tuesday, and as usual, Windows is vulnerable. And then the second thing, just titled it as Shields Up Banks. So I think Krebs had a thing on it, and there's a FBI advisory for that there is going to be an attack, and they're not saying which bank, they're just saying there's soon going to be an attack on banks. So, yeah, that's what we have so far. But it's supposed to be very soon, like here within the next week or two.
Well,
but I'm figuring it's going to be probably one of your smaller banks, not like a Chase or Bank of America type of thing.
Chase and Bank of America are critical infrastructure.
Yeah, so probably won't be one of them. It'll probably be more like a mom and pop or a statewide bank or smaller.
Well, things to look out for next week.
Yes. On this week's breach report.
Remember what we were saying last week about this? Instead of it being like, what, 20 years, now we get next week.
Yes.
Oh, man. All right. Well, that's it for the show notes.
That's it for the show notes.
I'm currently looking up guns on World King's website.
Have you looked up the 300? What is it? The 300? Shoot.
The one that Nightshade was talking about?
Yes.
300 Blackout.
Yeah, 300 Blackout. I was watching some stuff on that today. Good night. That's a nice.
Yeah.
That's a nice round.
It's really built for short-barreled subsonics, or for a short-barreled suppressed. That's what it's really designed for.
Yeah, right now I'm looking for a magazine-fed semi-auto 12-gauge shotgun.
I want a belt-fed 12-gauge shotgun.
They make those. They do make them. Sega, Vepr.
There's also something like an AR-12, which is like an AR platform with a 12-gauge.
Yeah, there's one that's in 410. I know they make them.
This one's in 12, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, the problem is 12 gauge is a lot harder to find. I think there is one in 12, but most of them are in 410.
You mean the gun's hard to find because 12 gauge is common. I have 2,500 rounds of 12 gauge, I think, laying around the house because of my uncle.
Is that it?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's why I found my uncle's. Maybe some of it got sold off.
I've got a bunch of 12 gauge as well. Like I said, Segas and Veprs are going to be the easiest ones to find. Supposedly they're releasing a semi-auto only version of the AA12, but yeah, we'll find out. There's that magazine conversion for one of the Mossberg shotguns talked about. I think Mossberg's actually going to release that themselves.
Finally.
Yeah.
They've been talking about they've been talking about that since I bought my first gun a while ago.
Wait, I blanked out. What's Mossberg going to release?
Supposedly they're going to release either they're going to release it or someone's going to release a magazine-fed shotgun for them. It's magazine-fed pump action.
Oh, sweet!
I guess because
the site. By the way, this is another gun. It's a Shockwave. The Shockwave looks interesting, but that has to be really hard as hell to shoot accurately.
Yeah, over a handful of meters it is. It's why they usually do that way. That's why you see like breaching shotguns, which are stockless and short barreled, because you want high maneuverability. Oh, also you could try the Hawk. Hawk has a it's Hawk and Norinco. They're Chinese made, but roll the dice with that one. They have a pump action magazine fit as well.
You could always get it smithed out.
Like a $500 EAA MKA 1919 match 12 gauge shotgun.
Yeah, I've seen that.
The picture looks like a damn AR-15.
Yeah, the 1919s. I've heard of those. Yeah, EAA is a good company, so that's a reliable one.
The Segas, though, those are nice. Those are.
Yeah.
I mean, you'll be sore after you're done, but they are nice.
And that was the company. I think they mostly hired him just for his name, but Mikhail Kalishnikov is actually working for them when he died, wasn't he?
No, I think he retired, but the
Sega's the last company he worked for, right?
The Sega is made by Ismash, which he was the one working for, because Ismash makes all the AK stuff, or most of it at least.
Yeah, it looks like Real King doesn't carry any AK style ones, but they do carry one. It looks like it has some kind of AR type action.
Yeah, most of them are modified AK actions. You could try a Vepr as well. They do make a 12 gauge Vepr. I don't know if you can find that for import though. That's the problem. Is getting those for imports. It's hard to do.
Yeah, for import, you pretty much have to. They have to be military surplus.
Yeah, which is going to be really hard to do now.
Yeah.
Oh, let's see what else is there. I know those are the big ones.
Oh, but that 300 blackout though, really cool thing with that. So you have the same, back end lower receiver.
Yeah.
And essentially, you just swap out the barrel.
Yeah, that's all you have to swap out. It uses the same bolt, everything. Well, you don't swap out the upper. You just swap out the
not
barrel.
Even the upper. Yeah, just the barrel. And same magazine. It's freaking awesome.
Yeah, it uses the same bolt face, all that stuff.
Yeah.
But you have to be really careful though too, because if you try and load a 300 blackout in a 5.56 chamber, you'll probably blow the fucking gun up if it goes in the battery.
Oh yeah. Yeah, because the round is about the same size as a 7.62?
Yeah, it's a 30 cal bullet. It's closer to the AK round than it is to the NATO round.
Yeah. Yeah, that's sweet. And especially the subsonic stuff.
Oh yeah.
Man, I tell you, it sounded like a nail hitting the floor.
It's been compared. I think they said with a proper subsonic ammunition with a proper suppressor, it's equivalent to like the MP5 SD.
Yeah.
The test that I've been looking at is a PPQ, and there's a couple of one of my local gun shops have. I'm debating between it and a Creed. I can get a Creed from Walford. For some reason, I just want a Walford.
Yeah.
The Creed looks interesting, but why is the Creed so much cheaper? What am I losing?
Oh, I don't know offhand. I don't know much about Walker.
Instead of Striker. Also, I saw some interesting PPQs at one of my local gun shops. One has, what's the term? A threaded barrel, so I can have liberals. The other one, and I'm not, I have mixed feelings about cops at times, but I kind of like the Blue Lives Matter people just because they piss people off, and that's just me. But they make a PPQ, which strange enough, it comes from a German company. With the Blue Lives Matter flag, like etched on top of it.
That's cool. I mean, if you want to look at a threaded barrel too, or threading a barrel, Beretta's all the way.
Beretta's? Okay. My local company, it used to be called Keeslers, and then someone else bought them out, and I don't know who they are, someone in Jamesville, Indiana, and they have a nice gun shop. It's a big gun shop. And across the street, there's a smaller gun shop, so something tactical, that I got my AR-15 and my KSG at.
Yeah.
There are a lot of gun manufacturers now that make threaded barrels as either standard or as an option. And even if they don't, there's aftermarket ones like Storm Lake or Springer Precision make aftermarket barrels too.
Hey guys, I'll talk to you later, all right?
Later, man. Hey, congratulations on the visa.
Thanks. I don't know if I'm getting the visa yet. We'll find out.
Well, if you do. Congrats on the next step towards it.
Yeah.
Later.
But basically, as long as you have a popular platform, which the Walther is pretty big for 3-gun shooters, then you have a pretty good supply of aftermarket parts.
Oh yeah.
Okay. And I just really like the way the PPQ feels good too. Back in the day, the P99 felt really good in my hand.
Yeah.
None of my local shops seem to have a P99 in stock.
A lot of people are using the which was not the P99. They're using the Q5. The Q5 is popular for 3-gunners.
Now, what exactly is a free gunner?
3-gunners, it's a shooting competition like IPSA or USPSA, where you use 3 guns. Use a rifle, a shotgun, and a pistol, and you've got each one available at different stages during the match.
That's how Keanu Reeves trained for John Wick.
Yep. And you'll see it online. They'll have them all out there. It's basically a way to test your skills with all 3 different platforms.
That was an enjoyable. The 2 movies there's only 2 movies out yet. There's a 3rd one in the way, right?
Yeah,
those movies are fun. And the same director for those 2 movies is supposed to be doing the reboot for Highlander. Now, granted, I don't like the whole reboot thing so much. And
Wait, Highlander's getting rebooted?
Yes, and
after 8 movies.
Dude, against reboots and remakes and shit, but at least the guy from John Wick to direct it, so I have some hope we'll see like Sword Fu. I don't know,
dude. That's like one of my the first Highlander is one of my top 10 movies.
What do you mean first one? They only made one Highlander movie.
No, they made dude. There was a full TV series, man.
Oh, yeah, the TV series, but would say the last season of was not so great. But as far as movies, they only made one Highlander movie.
No, here's a question. Highlander 2.
I'll fight you.
They made like 8. They made like 8. They beat that to death.
Yeah, unfortunately, the running joke is Highlander 1 should have been called Highlander. There should be only one.
There should be only one.
The TV show is actually, I like the TV show. I thought most of the TV show was good, but after the first one kind of sucked.
That's how I feel about Top Gun.
They made another Top Gun?
They're going to.
No, they're filming it right now.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna flop, brother.
No, I think
it's gonna flop.
Folks, I am pro gay marriage. I'm fine with the LGBT folks, but I mean this constant forcing of gay movies into the because you realize you know the original Top Gun was a gay innuendo movie, man. It was all about the gay lifestyle, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that.
Well, it's the Navy. What do you expect?
Kelly McGillis was a beard. Kelly McGillis was just there. It wasn't about man-on-man relationships. Which I'm saying.
But then again, Kelly McGillis is lesbian herself, so you know.
Oh, she is.
Oh yeah.
Oh shit. Okay, that
there you go.
That movie's a better gay movie than the fucking Birdcage.
And then the Brokeback Mountain. Yeah, right.
The milk.
Yes, and if you guys look at pictures of Kelly McGillis now compared to back then.
Oh shit. Yeah, but think about the movie.
Don't do it.
Sweaty, buff men, volleyball, Kenny Loggins playing with that boy.
Oh my gosh, dude! I gotta show this.
I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying it's a very family movie. The movie was, I think, targeted and demographic. Do what you want, but the movie, it's got some gay innuendo in it.
It's raining, man! Hallelujah!
Yeah, but that was that was sung by a couple of black ladies, wasn't it?
Yes. And it was,
the gay men have adopted it. Here's the thing: from the Weather Girls. I can't remember which one of the ladies from the Weather Girls it was because I don't remember their names. But she actually
like the gay anthem.
Yes, my understanding is yes. Raining Men is a gay anthem.
Yeah, I'm just saying,
hey guys, look what I found.
Here's the fucking things about the whole music industry. One of the ladies who was in that group, Weather Girls, who did Raining Men.
Yeah,
she was a rather overweight black lady with a very good voice.
Yeah.
She overdubbed. You remember CNC Music Factory from like the early days?
Yeah.
She overdubbed the hot lady's voice.
Ladies, let your body flow.
Yes. They got this beautiful black lady to be the voice, or to be the face, but they put the older lady who was in Rebel Girls to do the voice because she has a fucking awesome voice. Dude, I saw CNC Music Factory try to perform live on a City Hall back in the early '90s, and I was like,
"Oh my god,
that sucked." But I like the music. I like the music they did when I heard it canned, but the live performance on City Hall sucked.
Hey, I blame all that stuff on Milli Vanilli. I blame all that was the Milli Vanilli era. Girl, you know it's girl, you know it's girl, you know.
So you guys
that was classic.
So I looked it up, even though Jack said not to.
Yeah.
No. Okay. So here's them in the movie. So you've got Kelly McGillis and Tom Cruise here on right. This is from the movie circa 1986. Here's them 30 years later in 2010. Tom Cruise hasn't aged.
Well, he's aged. He's aged like fine wine. He's still good. He's still a good-looking man.
And this picture really doesn't do it justice for Kelly McGillis. There you go.
Oh, Jesus.
That's rough. That's rough.
No, that ain't her. That is not her.
That is her.
That's
that is
her.
Stop.
Yep, that's her.
Well, come on. We all know he had a thing for Goose, and Iceman was his side dude.
What happened?
You can be my wingman anytime.
I'm just saying, homophobic. No, not homophobic. Homophilic innuendo in it. I mean, that movie.
Hey, Jack. You know what they say, right? I'd rather have a sister in the whorehouse than a brother in the Navy.
True. But then again, my sister's in the Air Force, so there's not much breathing room there.
They're a lot more pretty than the Navy, though.
No, because she sits behind a desk all day.
I would say something, but your sister and we're on air, so I'm not going to.
Yeah, and I don't know how you feel about your sister.
Let's just say I wouldn't step there.
I was at Skydog a couple years ago. Actually, it was 2015. I met a lady who was a veteran from the Navy who turned into a porn star.
Ooh, what's her screen name?
I have to go find it. She played. She basically played Vinyl Vanna for that year's Hacker Jeopardy. But I followed her, but I don't remember her name. I haven't seen her tweet in a while.
Oh, she might have
busy. She's busy.
Speaking of Skydog, I love Skydog Con. That was a nice con to go to.
I just wish it hadn't ended.
Me too. Actually, you know what? We're going to say some shit probably in the next few hours. It's going to get worse and worse. So how about I go ahead and stop the cast since we covered all the actors?
Yes, please. Yes.
Yeah. So I can tell you guys what happened about 9A.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah. Good night, ladies and gentlemen.
Have a good night, everyone. We'll see you next week.
Adios.
All right. Catch y'all later. Let's go next Wednesday, but we're going to carry the cast, the private chat for a bit.
Right.
Talk to you later. If anybody wants to join some I'm fucking things up. Vodka.
Vodka.
Yeah, this time we didn't actually hit the limit that we sometimes do. But all right, everybody, catch y'all next week's cast, and y'all who are on the cast, hang out for after talk.